Roll. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
As we grow older, there are many challenges that we have to confront, but these years can represent the best in our lives. Coming of Age during Nationwide This Morning on Thursdays explores issues persons 50 and over confront. It also provides expert opinions on how we can improve the quality of our lives as we get older. That's Coming of Age, this and every Thursday during Nationwide This Morning at 6:51 a.m.
Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
News at 5 teasers are brought to you by Advanced Scales and Equipment. Service is our total commitment.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robeanne Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, the Foreign Minister, Kamina Johnson-Smith, has confirmed that Jamaica is on a list of countries hit with the suspension of U.S. immigrant visa processing.
Maitland, described as professional and bubbly as character witness, seeks to paint a good picture of him to jury.
The PMP is blaming ministerial oversight for the problems at the university hospital.
Government may soon punish those who use AI online for malicious purposes.
The police say they have exhausted efforts to find 12-year-old Jaden Smith.
In news from the rest of the world, Venezuela's acting president vows to continue releasing prisoners detained under Maduro.
Trump claims killing of Iran protesters has stopped as Tehran signals executions are ahead.
In sports, West Indies begins quest for second ICC Under-19 cricket title in 9 hours' time.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, the police fraud squad has been called in to probe a report that the University Hospital of the West Indies unlawfully used its tax exemption status to import goods for at least 3 private companies. This resulted in loss of tax revenue amounting to $23 million. We'll hear from the chairman of the UHWI Board of Management, Patrick Hilton.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, what's your reaction to the U.S. pausing immigrant visa processing for 75 countries, including Jamaica? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio, and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90 FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, the Trump administration will be suspending immigrant visa processing for applicants from 75 countries. This includes Jamaica. It starts on January 21. We'll get reactions from U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Attorney Wayne Golding.
And at 8, it's Boyatings After Dark with Kareem Boyatings Weathers.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile Nationwide 90 FM, RevoNews.ai, and on the Revo News app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday, January 14, 2026.
News at 5 teasers were brought to you by Advanced Scales and Equipment. Service is our total commitment.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Jamaica's Foreign Minister, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, has confirmed that Jamaica is one of 75 countries whose U.S. immigrant visa processing has been suspended indefinitely. The news, first reported by Fox News in the United States, has sent jitters through the local and diaspora communities. The State Department confirmed the visa suspensions on Wednesday, but did not explicitly name Jamaica. It says the indefinite pause will take place on January 21. Shalois Michael reports.
An immigrant visa is a document allowing foreign nationals to permanently live in the United States while they await the issuance of a green card. But the door has seemingly been closed on the dream held by many. On Wednesday, the U.S. State Department said it instructed consular officers to halt immigrant visa applications from 75 countries across the globe. It's the latest in a string of immigration crackdowns announced by the Trump administration. In a social media post, the State Department says it's aiming to pause the visa processing for immigrants who take welfare from the American people at unacceptable rates. It says the freeze will remain active until the U.S. can ensure that new immigrants will not extract wealth from Americans. The suspension will not apply to those seeking non-immigrant, temporary tourist or business visas. The full list of countries under the policy has not been officially released, but several media reports named 11 Caribbean countries among the 75, Jamaica being one of them. In a social media post, Senator Johnson Smith confirmed the news, but she says the pause does not affect visas for students, tourists, business, or visas which are part of the seasonal work programs. She says these continue to be processed at the U.S. Embassy in Kingston. Minister Johnson Smith says the embassy will provide further clarity on the matter once they are able. Shalois Michael for Nationwide News.
To the courts now, a police colleague has described murder-accused Constable Noel Maitland as a hard-working professional with a bubbly personality. The inspector told the 7-member jury presiding at the murder trial that Maitland's arrest in connection with the disappearance and murder of Donnelly Donaldson came as a shock. The inspector, who served as Maitland's supervisor in July of 2022, appeared as a character witness for the defense on Wednesday. Robian Williams reports.
Under examination by King's Counsel Larry Smith, the inspector said he had known Maitland for many years through work. He described him as reliable, disciplined, and committed to his duties. The inspector said he was a very vibrant person who loved his job, adding that Maitland was a team player who was sometimes a little bit lippy and expressed his opinions, but never beyond the bounds of discipline. The witness said Maitland was sociable and often the center of attention because of his bubbly personality. He said Maitland carried out prisoner escort duties with seriousness and diligence. The inspector testified he would arrive early, would always do what he's supposed to. I could rely on him without close supervision. He told the court that when news broke of Maitland's alleged involvement in the matter, he and other members of the station were stunned. He said, "This came as a shock. Nothing in his behavior and his general character suggested that he was a person who would have done something like that." During cross-examination, the Crown established that the inspector did not know Maitland outside the work environment. The witness acknowledged that he was unaware of Maitland's relationships with Donnelly Donaldson or Kathiana Smith and did not know where he lived and could not recall when he learned that Maitland was a father. Pressed on his assessment, the inspector conceded that in his career, he had encountered persons who acted outside of character. He also confirmed that he provided a statement in the case and was aware that he is listed as a Crown witness. Asked what traits he associated with someone who would commit murder, the inspector said such a person might display rage, anger, uncontrollable behavior, and fits of violence, often evident in high-stress situations. He agreed that police officers, like anyone else, can face high stress in their personal lives. Before adjourning, Justice Leighton Pusey noted that it was likely the jury would be sent out to deliberate on a verdict by next week. Both the prosecution and defense are to make their summations on Thursday, when the trial resumes at 10 a.m. Robian Williams for Nationwide News.
The police inspector who was found in possession of cocaine in St. Andrew last Thursday has been granted bail in the sum of $2.5 million. The 51-year-old Inspector Martin Walker appeared before the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Wednesday. As part of his bail conditions, the inspector is to report to the police at a designated station. The inspector has been charged with possession of, dealing in, and trafficking cocaine. The charges were laid last Saturday following a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney Christopher Townsend. Inspector Walker is assigned administrative duties at the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch, CTOC. Reports are detectives from the Firearms and Narcotics Investigation Division, FNID, swooped down on a bar in Woodford Park, Kingston 4. Following a search of Inspector Walker's vehicle, 12.5 pounds of cocaine was found. His next court date is scheduled for March 23.
Opposition spokesman on health and wellness Dr. Alfred Dawes says a failure of ministerial oversight is to be blamed for the findings of an Auditor General's report into the operations at the University Hospital of the West Indies. Among the issues flagged is a $23 million revenue loss at the Type A facility.
The Auditor General has now confirmed what I have been warning about for over a year. No procurement documents were found for $521 million in contracts awarded by the University Hospital of the West Indies. That is not a clerical error. This is a serious failure of governance. For more than a year, I raised concerns about procurement practices across the Ministry of Health and its agencies. Each time, the minister assured the country that systems were sound and functioning properly. The Auditor General has now shown that this was simply not true.
On Tuesday, it was revealed that the fraud squad was probing the revelation that the hospital unlawfully used its tax exemption status to import goods for at least 3 private companies. The Auditor General's report found that the use of the hospital's tax exemption status resulted in a $23 million loss in tax revenue to the government. The report was tabled in the House of Representatives. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has since appointed a committee to address the accountability gaps in the report. But Dr. Dawes is also criticizing that move.
Despite repeated public assurances from Health Minister Christopher Tufton, hundreds of millions of dollars were committed without basic documentation. When procurement fails, hospitals go without equipment. Healthcare workers are left unsupported and patients pay the price. A system cannot credibly investigate itself. A committee appointed by the minister to probe the failures he presided over is like a man on trial choosing his own jury.
Dr. Alfred Dawes, opposition spokesman on health and wellness.
Minister with responsibility for technology, Dr. Andrew Wheatley, says persons who maliciously use artificial intelligence, AI, may soon face up to 20 years in prison under coming amendments to the Cybercrimes Act. Dr. Wheatley is warning Jamaicans to desist from the use of AI for nefarious purposes.
Well, I would say to them that cease and desist, because the amendments to the Cybercrime Act, which will come into effect soon when it is tabled in Parliament shortly, maybe next week, that it will become a crime punishable up to 20 years. You know, if one should generate these images of persons and in fact defaming persons by using artificially generated images. Well, we are looking to table the amended Cybercrimes Act, hopefully next week.
The UK government announced plans to criminalize the use of AI to generate sexual images of persons without their consent by the end of the end of this week. The move comes in response to a growing trend to use the Grok AI feature on the social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter, to carry out the act. British media regulator Ofcom, as well as the state of California in the United States, has launched an investigation into the AI feature. Dr. Wheatley says he's in support of criminalizing those acts.
Yes, definitely. It's my personal opinion as minister, but I'm sure that the Artificial Intelligence Task Force will, create policies around that to govern the whole discussion, the whole use of artificial intelligence.
Dr. Andrew Wheatley, Minister with responsibility for technology.
The Manchester police say they've exhausted all efforts in locating 12-year-old Jaden Smith. The 12-year-old student of the Manchester High School was reported missing on September 26 last year. Commanding officer for the division, Superintendent Kerry Duncan, provided an update on Wednesday.
In my 35 years of serving the Jamaica Constabulary Force, I have never seen so much effort put into finding a missing person than I have seen put into this one. Your Manchester police have exhausted every need that we have received as it relates to Jaden. Unfortunately, to date, we are nowhere near closer to where we want to be. But I'll just tell you how serious it is. That we have also have persons calling us to say that them dream that Jaden is in a particular location. And we have sent out our teams to go and check.
Since Smith's disappearance, the police, family members, and members of the school community have been on the lookout for him. There have also been reports of Jaden being spotted in the Mandeville area in the week of his disappearance. It's understood Jaden emptied his savings account and bought extra food before he went missing. Superintendent Duncan says efforts to locate the boy will continue.
We are leaving no stones unturned to find out where Jaden is. And the effort continues. The investigation is well advanced. We have interviewed several persons. We have canvassed several areas. We have looked at several cameras. We have visited several locations. A whole lot of work has been put into finding Jaden.
Superintendent Kerry Duncan, head of the Manchester Police Division. Jaden is of dark complexion, slim-built, about 5 feet tall, and is of a Wales in Newport, Manchester address.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
See twice the style for less at IQ Optical. Buy one pair of glasses and get your second and third pair half price. Don't miss out. Call 876-929-7732 or visit IQ Optical today, where clarity never looked sharper.
The time by IQ Optical is...
It's 15 minutes after 5.
Termites, rodents, or birds infesting your home or office? Call Rentokil Initial, the pest expert, at 876-926-4236 for a free pest assessment island-wide. The temperature brought to you by Rentokil Initial is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay.
Jamaica Post is committed to being your preferred logistics partner. Enjoy the convenience of 3 to 5 days for international shipments at competitive rates and next business day delivery for local packages. Take advantage of our fast, reliable and ever-evolving services: Zip Mail, Click and Ship, Fast Track, EMS, Parcel Service, Registered Mail, Corporate Mail Service, and Private Letterbox. Access customer service support and track packages online. Visit our post offices island-wide and premium service centers at select locations. For more information, go to jamaicapost.gov.jm. Conditions apply.
Continuing the news, Education Minister Senator Dr. Dana Morris Dixon says improvements have been made to security arrangements at the College of Agriculture, Science and Education case in Portland. The minister's update follows an alleged incident of rape on the institution's campus last month. Dana Davey has that story.
Last December, students at CASE protested over what they described as several security concerns at the institution's campus. According to the students, the December's rape incident was not the first of its kind at CASE. Speaking on Nationwide at 5 following the incident, CASE's principal, Dr. Derek Deslandes, acknowledged the ongoing challenge with security. Speaking at Wednesday's post-cabinet media briefing, Minister Morris Dixon says since the incident, the school has made a number of improvements to campus security.
The school has beefed up security. They have a shuttle bus now. They've also hired more security guards on the campus, and the students said they were quite happy with these changes. They felt they were effective changes, and they also noted that the school administration has been working with the students and keeping the students in the loop.
Minister Morris Dixon says the improvements are a result of collaboration between CASE and the Education Ministry.
The administration has taken those steps. The ministry has supported them in giving them infrastructural support and financial support so they can do this beef up of security. And we're also happy that the students feel that it has been effective.
The Education Minister says she has been in dialogue with the student representatives on the campus to gauge the effectiveness of the security updates.
I would just note, in terms of CASE, I actually got an update yesterday, and it wasn't from the school. We got the update from the student body president, Because in cases like this, you get your update from the school and they outline what they want to do. But we actually got an update from the student body president to find out how the students felt, because that's important.
The man wanted in relation to the incident, as well as 2 prior alleged incidents of rape at Case, Winston Humes, was shot and killed in an alleged confrontation with lawmen in Portland last December. Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
Approximately 34,000 residents remain without piped water 78 days since the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Water Minister Matthew Samuda provided the update at Wednesday's post-cabinet media briefing.
The National Water Commission services approximately 80% of citizens in Jamaica. We can report that at this morning, 93.5% of customers have been restored. As you can imagine, this is obviously heavily skewed to the east. And as you go further west is where you have the greater disruptions. 33,746 customers still without water. We have 2,865 customers out in St. James, 7,140 out in Hanover, 9,200 out in Westmoreland, 12,455 out in St. Elizabeth. And Trelawney, we have 940 customers out.
Minister Samuda says particular challenges have been faced in Darlaston, Westmoreland. East Westmoreland MP Dr. Dayton Campbell told Parliament on Tuesday that all his constituents are still in the dark. In an update, JPS noted that power will return to at least one area by the end of the week. Minister Samuda says the lack of electricity has affected the restoration efforts. He says relief is on the way.
The Roaring River system is the last large system that is out. With the restoration of this system, which is projected for today, we expect to be able to run the Roaring River system at full capacity. It means 30,000 Jamaicans will have water. The communities of Whithorn, Caledonia, and Barnyside should be particularly happy because when Roaring River system turns on, we will be able to now turn on generators which will move the water all the way to Darlaston. So within 24 to 36 hours, the awful circumstances that citizens have had to live in that area, depending solely on trucked water, will come to an end.
Matthew Samuda, Water Minister.
World in a Minute is brought to you by Hose Assembly and Supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, says her government will continue releasing prisoners detained under the rule of former President Nicolas Maduro. In a media briefing on Wednesday, Rodriguez described the move as a new political moment since Maduro's ouster by the United States. She offered assurances that the process of releasing detainees has not yet concluded. The prison releases are reportedly being made at the behest of the Trump administration. A Venezuelan human rights organization estimates that about 800 political prisoners are still being detained. It includes political leaders, soldiers, lawyers, and members of civil society.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he's been told on good authority that plans for executions in Iran have stopped. But Tehran has signaled that it will continue with faster trials and executions in its crackdown on protesters. Trump's latest claims come amid widespread ongoing protests, which has seen more than 200 people killed by security forces. Trump has said that his administration would act accordingly in response to the Iranian government. But on Wednesday, Iran's judiciary chief says the government must act quickly to punish more than 18,000 people through rapid trials and executions. The U.S. says it is now reducing the number of personnel at the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar as Trump considers whether to take action against Iran.
World in a Minute was brought to you by Hose Assembly and Supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, the Foreign Minister, Kamina Johnson-Smith, has confirmed that Jamaica is on a list of countries hit with the suspension of U.S. immigrant visa processing.
Maitland, described as professional and bubbly as character witness seeks to paint a good picture of him to jury.
PMP blames ministerial oversight for the problems at UHWI.
Government may soon punish those who use AI online for malicious purposes.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
Listeners, you can find the news on our website at rivernews.ai and on the River News app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next. The headlines at 6.
Taboo topics. Bulletins after dark.
Riveting discussions.
Celebrity news and interviews.
Topics that are shunned by society.
And everything else in between. Bulletins after dark with Kareem Bulletins each and every Wednesday, 8 to 11 p.m. Bulletins after dark. No topic is too taboo or hard to discuss. Come get your mind blown and your curiosity explored. Bulletins after dark.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Racing United, they're back on top of the Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League. They produced a clinical performance this afternoon on Wednesday, that is. A 4-1 victory over Treasure Beach. The game was played at the Jerusalem, home of Waterhouse. Talisman Nikhil Ellis opened the scoring for the St. Catherine-based team on 53 minutes. Their captain, Markovich Brown, added a second on the hour mark. That came 7 minutes after the first. Siobhan Willis was also on the scorecard. He scored in the minute number 69. And of course, Jaheim Williams made it 4 goals in the 90 plus 5 minutes. Racing John Montego Bay United, they're both on 32 points. But Racing, they lead the standings by way of having a better goal difference. In another game on Wednesday, Dunby Holden, they played out a 1-1 draw with Malines United. That game was played at the Dunby Holden complex. O'Dane Samuels, he gave Dunby Holden a lead. This was on minute 54, but Dumar McLaughlin fashioned an equalizer for Malines United, and that came in the 70th minute. Some 4 more games are on the schedule for Thursday, including the leaders. Well, the former leaders, Montego Bay United, they'll be in Kingston. They'll be in the capital. They'll take on Tivoli Gardens at the Edward Seaga Sports Complex. The other games will involve the Waterhouse. They'll play away to Harbourview at Compound. Portmore United, they're going to be at home at Ferdinand Park, and they'll take on Spanish Town Police in a St. Catherine Derby. And of course, at Chapelton Maroons, they'll take on Arnott Gardens at the Turners in Clarendon. And all games are scheduled to get underway at 3 o'clock. Senegal booked their place in the African Cup final on Sunday. They produced a 1-0 victory, and that victory came against Egypt in Tangier. The former Liverpool starman Sadio Mane got the only goal, and it came on minute 78.
Finds Mane in a bit of space. Little ball in for Jackson. Cut out by the Egyptian defence. Now another long-range effort. Kamada. Mane! Goal! Sadio Mane with a touch of fortune.
Touch of fortune, but at the same time, touch of class.
The second semi-final is currently underway in the Moroccan capital of Rabat. And guess what? It's goalless between the host Morocco, and they're taking on the Super Eagles of Nigeria. They're now in extra time. They've got about 10 or 8 minutes to play in extra time, and there's not a winner. Clearly, they'll be going to penalties for a chance to play Senegal in the big final on Sunday in Rabat. So at 110 minutes gone in that game, Morocco against Nigeria, it's still goalless. And of course, it seems as if it's heading for penalties. League leaders Arsenal, they beat Chelsea by 3-2 in a cagey and exciting affair at Stamford Bridge a short time ago in the first leg of semi-final 2 in the Carabao Cup in England. Arsenal led 2-0 with Ben White and of course Victor Gyökeres on target before Alejandro Garnacho. He pulled Chelsea back into the game. A third goal from the Spanish international Martin Zubimendi was the winner from Arsenal, but not before the Argentine and Garnacho added a second for Chelsea.
Stopped scoring from corners. As soon as he came back, they started again. In goes the corner from Rice, and it's headed down and headed in by Ben White. Bukayo Saka here. Overlapping run from Ben White. White's ball into the box. Spilled by Robert Sanchez and converted by Victor Gyökeres. Saliba, João Pedro, Pedro Neto. Knocked up toward the back post, Garnacho! That's huge for Chelsea! Alejandro Garnacho! Mikel Merino, whose versatility has been such a useful weapon, round the corner beautifully, great feet, and that restores Arsenal's 2-goal advantage. Zubimendi so calm in the Chelsea penalty area. Alejandro Garnacho off the bench with 2 crucial Chelsea goals. It's 3-2.
3-2, heading back to the Emirates. They're going to do it again in 2 weeks' time. We're switching now to cricket. The West Indies will open their campaign for a second ICC Under-19 World Cup title on Thursday morning, Jamaica time. They'll take on Tanzania at the High Performance Center in Windhoek, Namibia. And that game gets underway at 2:30 Jamaica time. The 2016 champions will be looking to improve on their last performance in 2024 when they finished 5th at the championship. As part of the build-up to the tournament this week, the West Indies crushed Japan by 229 runs in a warm-up game, and that came days after the opening scheduled warm-up game against Scotland was washed out. And you know, their coach Ryan Nurse has been impressed with the team's maturity in adapting to the climate, the wickets, and the general environment over there in Namibia, and he's looking forward to a big performance from the team tomorrow morning.
The conditions here, the climate is quite hot and humid, and being higher in altitude, the air is thinner, so that as well is going through. But I think the players are slowly but surely getting there, and the staff has worked very hard behind the scenes to put things in place to help them, and they are playing quite well. So we're happy with where we're at right now.
And 2 other games are on the schedule on the opening day of the championship on Thursday. The USA will take on India, and that game is scheduled for Bulawayo. And the host Zimbabwe will take on Scotland. That will be in Harare. So it's Zimbabwe and Namibia who are co-hosting the tournament. And one more story before we go. Jamaica will be hunting their first victory of the 2026 CWI Women's T20 Blaze when they take on Barbados in the opening game of a triple header at the Arnesvale Field. And the Jamaica game is the first one. It starts at 9:30 a.m. The Jamaicans are coming off a narrow 9-run defeat to the Leeward Islands in their opening game of the tournament on Tuesday. And they chased a target of 109 for victory, but struggled badly and were restricted to 99 for 8 in their 20 over. Shady Nation was a standout performer. She got 48 for Jamaica with the bat, and she received very little support. And Thursday's clash against Barbados will now present an opportunity for the Jamaicans to reset and to sort of get their tournament back on track. In other games on the day, the Windward Islands, they'll be in action. They take on Trinidad and Tobago in the second encounter. And the second encounter in these triple headers will start at 2:30 before the final game of the night. The champions, Guyana, they'll be in action, and they'll take on the Leeward Islands in a game that bowls off at 7 o'clock in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, with 6 o'clock here in Jamaica. And that will pretty much put an end to our sports for this time. We're going to be back, though, at 6:05 with our main sportscast. In that sportscast, we'll bring you the final result in the Morocco versus Nigeria second semi-final at the AFCON. At the minute, they were 0-0 deep into extra time, heading for penalties.
For all your custom framing, printing, graphic design, and purchase of art, Make It Frame Art Jamaica Limited, serving you for over 40 years. The time by Frame Art Jamaica is
5:32.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, is a financial reporting firm that delivers accounting and compliance services on time. Call us today at 876-908-0486-7. Email us at clientservices@cocnjamaica.com or visit our website at www.cocnjamaica.com. COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity. Cliff Says is by far the most popular mid-morning radio segment in Jamaica. Cliff Hughes shares his views on the hot-button topics of the day, editorializing on various issues in the news, breaking news stories, and expounding on stories. Cliff Says sets the tone of the show for the rest of the day. Join the award-winning journalist Cliff Hughes weekdays during Cliff Hughes Online at 10 to 10:30 a.m. Join the revolution in media.
Turn up the heat with Hot Listing, Nationwide 90FM's new on-air and online classifieds feature. If you have a car for sale, room for rent, or yard sale come up. If you look at work or need stuff. If you provide a service, make it a Hot Listing, Nationwide 90FM's new on-air and online classified segment. Your listing plays again and again. From morning till evening. You sing it, we play it. You say it once, Jamaica hears it all day, every hour. Contact our sales team now at 876-630-1210 or sales at nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Hot Listings on Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
In times of loss, sharing information matters. Nationwide 90 FM offers professional obituary announcements, ensuring family, friends, and communities are informed with care and dignity.
It's been a long day.
Obituaries are aired weekdays at 8:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 7:30 p.m. When it's important to reach people, let us help you do so respectfully. Contact our sales team today, 876-630-1210, or sales at nationwidenewsnetwork.com for more information. Nationwide 90 FM, informing Jamaica with care.
Wednesday greetings to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the cover story. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
I'm Jay Lewis. Good afternoon to you, Ricardo, and good afternoon to our listeners. And for the cover story this afternoon, listeners, the police fraud squad has been called in to probe a report that the University Hospital of the West Indies, the UHWI, unlawfully used its tax exemption status to import goods for at least 3 private companies. The probe follows a damning report from the Auditor General, which found that the alleged inappropriate use of the UWIH's tax exemption status has resulted in tax revenue losses to the government amounting to $23 million. Our sources say at least one of the 4 companies which the Auditor General says received tax exempted status on supplies and equipment imported by the UHWI is owned by a prominent politician. More in this report from Mahiri Stewart.
The Auditor General's report detailing alleged unlawful conduct at the UHWI was tabled in the House of Representatives on Tuesday afternoon. Auditor General Pamela Monroe Ellis's office says customs records showed that items including office furniture, laundry, and medical equipment were declared to Jamaica Customs as hospital imports. But inventory records confirmed that the items were not acquired by the hospital. They were instead obtained by private entities. The Auditor General says the misrepresentation breached the Customs Act, resulting in over $20 million in unpaid import duties. The Auditor General noted that Section 209, subsection 1 of the Customs Act prohibits false declarations on customs documents, with violations subject to fines and prosecution. The Auditor General says, for example, UHWI used its tax exemption status to import laundry equipment valued at $28 million for an entity identified as Private Company 1. This action, the Auditor General says, caused revenue loss of $6.6 million, with UHWI paying the remaining import duties of $1.9 million. The Auditor General says similarly, UHWI facilitated the importation of office furniture and medical equipment valued at over $40 million for another two entities which were indemnified as Private Companies 2 and 3. This action, the Auditor General says, resulted in tax revenue losses to the Jamaican state of $10.7 million. It's understood that the entity which the Auditor General refers to as Private Company 1 is owned by a group of several business people. Private Company 2, which it alleged benefited from the unlawful use of UHWI's tax exemption status, is owned by a prominent politician. Up until recently, another senior politician was listed online as being a member of the board of directors of the company. The Auditor General's department also stated in its report that the UHWI also inappropriately used its tax exemption status to import 40 waste bins for a company which was identified as Private Company 4. The Auditor General says in its initial response dated August 2025, UHWI confirmed that it has ceased facilitating imports for private entities using its tax exemption status. According to the Auditor General, UHWI acknowledged that this practice violated public trust and Jamaica's procurement laws. The Auditor General says in addition, UHWI reiterated its acceptance of the findings pending further investigation. The hospital also said it was seeking suitable measures to prevent a recurrence of such activities. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
In the meantime, the Health Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, says immediate steps have been taken to address the governance and accountability gaps highlighted by the audit report, and these include the appointment of an institutional review committee, which is to present a report within 4 months. The Board of Management of the UHWI says it's taking seriously the findings of the report on selected procurement activities, and it has started accelerating reforms to address the issues raised. In a statement on Tuesday, the board acknowledged that the report points to long-standing procedural weaknesses and legacy practices that predate both the current board and executive leadership.
And it noted that a structured reform program had already begun or been underway before the report was tabled. So we're now being joined by the board chairman, and that is Patrick Hilton. Good afternoon, Mr. Hilton.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Hilton, who does the board hold responsible for these things?
So the board has to hold responsible those who would have executed the various breaches and transactions that have taken place. And that is a big part of our focus in terms of how we address the situation. Right? So we're looking at the issue of accountability, as I mentioned previously. Right? We're looking at what proceedings we need to institute against anybody who is guilty of any breaches or negligence and so on. We are looking at this within the context of, staff orders for the public sector, public service regulations, the Public Procurement Act. But we have to do all of this within the context of natural justice and due process. So that is in train that has been initiated through our Human Resources Committee.
To the best of your knowledge, your predecessor, my recollection is that he left after a pretty well publicized spat with the senior leadership at the hospital. Can you say whether his exit had anything to do with these things? In other words, he was trying to clamp down and he was facing pushback. Can you say?
I have no knowledge of the particular reason for his exit, to be honest, and I'm not aware that it had anything to do with what has been found in the Auditor General's report. He would have to speak to that himself.
Fair.
And was the board, Mr. Hilton, at any time informed or asked to approve any of these arrangements that we have now seen come forward in this report?
You mean in relation to like the customs and so on?
The tax exempt.
The tax exempt
imports.
Import. No, not at all.
And at what level of the organization were these decisions taken to facilitate the imports?
But I don't want to get into that at this point in time because it's under investigation. The fraud squad has come in, they're doing their work. Jamaica Customs have come in, they're doing their work. They have asked for documentation. Their meetings have been held, discussions are taking place. They have indicated that there's a next step in the process. And the legal advice I have at this point in time is that we shouldn't comment any further on these particular matters until they have been investigated and addressed. And I mean, I understand that people will be, very concerned and upset about it as we were. But we also have to, to recognize that there's a process we need to go through to deal with these things. Otherwise, we run the risk that we could, have regret later about how we proceeded.
But can Jamaicans be reasonably assured, Mr. Hilton, that this process will be effective, considering it appears that the internal controls did not catch these things and it took the Auditor General to raise them? How sure can we be that your internal processes will
we are
work?
aware of them now. We are aware of them. And we have implemented a process to deal with them. That has started, as I mentioned. There is the oversight committee that the minister has appointed, who I know will be taking a keen interest, I expect, in these things. The board is taking a keen interest. If you look at even my own background, I must tell you, I've never experienced anything like this. I've never even remotely gone to. I come out of an environment where compliance and the adherence to good governance and so on is part of the DNA. So all of this is a big surprise and very disturbing. And so we are committed to pursuing it to its logical conclusion.
I have to ask again, though. Clearly, you're saying that it never came to the level of the board. So I have to ask, is it one person who would normally sign off? Fine, you can't tell us who, but is it one person? Is it a group of people who would normally sign off on something like this?
I can't get into that, to be honest. I mean, about how many people and so on, right? That is something that the appropriate authorities are dealing with.
Let me ask it another way then. Does the board have a finance and compliance committee that is ordinarily responsible for reviewing tax exemptions and other financially related matters?
The board has an audit and compliance committee that reviews the financial statements, it reviews various financial transactions and so on. But if they are not brought to the committee's attention, they won't be aware of it.
So matters of exemption and those type of things would not go to the audit and compliance committee?
No, I'm saying if it isn't brought to the committee's attention, they won't be aware of it.
So then we should hold the CEO responsible then?
But I can't tell you who to hold responsible. You see, you gentlemen are going down a road. I can't go down, At the end of the day, I have to sit as an arbiter of what, decisions we make, who is accountable, what sanctions, if any, are applied. And I can't prejudge by making comments of that nature.
Hold it there for us. Up on the break. We're talking to Patrick Hilton, chairman of the board of the UHWI.
Order Pizza Hut online at pizzahutjamaica.com or through WhatsApp at 876-837-4488. Pizza Hut, now that's delivery. The time by Pizza Hut is
5:47.
We need a bigger office where we can see more clients. Sounds like ambition is calling and Access Financial Services is answering. The funds are waiting.
Boss, I just can't wait for one truck,
I know. We need another truck. Sounds like you have a plan and Access Financial Services can help. Horizon, a new loan product from Access Financial Services designed for women entrepreneurs to unlock the capital you need to grow and take your business beyond limits. With quick approval, flexible repayment, and low interest rates, your success is on the horizon.
This season is the time. Digital is gifting smiles.
Give the smile, give the smile, give the smile. 64 people to win a grand prize. 250K to help you to give the smile. Plus groceries and farming supplies. Keep your loved ones in mind. Give the smile. Sharing the love from me to you. Samsung tablet video and your crew. Give the smile, give the smile. This season, make sure everybody good. Digital is helping you to give the smile, give the smile, give the smile.
Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. We have with us Patrick Hilton, the chairman of the board of the UHWI. The Auditor General has flagged several governance issues at the institution. Mr. Hilton, will you tell the Jamaican people who are these companies who benefited from the tax exemption, the use of the tax exempt status? Mr. Hilton? All right, seems we lost him. Trying to reconnect with him. The Auditor General is saying that, for example, $23 million in revenue loss to the government because the UHWI used its tax exemption status to import goods for private companies, and it's been flagged as unlawful. The police fraud squad are investigating. They've been called in to probe it.
You know, Ricardo, a lot of questions as it relates to the board also, because as you indicated, maybe the buck stops with the CEO. But at the same time, I am also concerned that the board, which has its finance committee, if these items, such as exemptions, and you know, you're looking at millions, why is it that that wouldn't have brought to the level of the board, for the board, even after, to review from a compliance standpoint? You know?
Mr. Hilton? Yes. So I was asking you before we lost you, will you tell the Jamaican people who are the companies who benefited from the UHWI unlawfully using the tax exemption status to import goods?
No, I can't do that.
Why is that?
Well, the Auditor General hasn't named them. And like I said, there is a process of investigation and so on regarding them. I don't want to name people within our companies, and then, you know, later on there is an issue which they can present in their own defense. I don't know, for example, right? And then you find that there's a dispute over it. So I can't get into that.
But you know who the company...
I'll be putting myself at risk. I know the name, but I'm not at liberty to disclose them publicly.
Can you say whether sitting members of parliament own these companies?
I wouldn't want to comment on that either.
But you do know the answer?
I know the answer. To be very, you know me, right? I'm going to tell you straight, right? If I don't feel I can tell you, I'm going to tell you I can't. And if I know the answer, I'll tell you the straight answer.
But without naming them, can you confirm that politicians own the companies?
I am not going to confirm any such thing, sir.
What would be
at this point in time?
What would be the harm in confirming that? I'm not asking you to name the politicians. I accept that you say you can't name them. But can you say whether politicians own the companies?
I don't want to get into that, to be honest.
Why?
For more reasons than one.
Can you tell us those reasons, Mr. Hill? As you can imagine, this is taxpayers' money, Mr. Hilton, as you can well imagine. And Jamaicans are concerned as to whether personal relationships may have driven these decisions. So you don't think the Jamaican people deserve that answer?
I don't know. I haven't seen any evidence that personal decisions have driven those answers. Right? I don't know. I don't think it is appropriate to name one particular company or one particular category of persons who may have been involved. It is all going to come out soon enough, I think, right? Because there's a process that we're going through. Like I said, the process is advanced, and I wanted to follow the process.
Was the board, though, aware of these connections at the time the arrangements were made?
I certainly was not aware.
When did you become aware?
I became aware when I saw the first draft of the Auditor General's report.
That was last year, this year?
It would be late last year.
And at that point, when you saw the draft report, what steps did you take as chairman as it relates to this issue?
So the first time, remember, the board, we had a new board which was formed in post-election because the board attended their resignation prior to the elections in August. And then a new board was formed in probably late September, right? And the first thing we did was to convene a meeting, and I think the first meeting may have been in early October, something like that, where the draft was discussed. Of course, management would have been in the process of providing responses and so on. And we initiated a process through which the HR subcommittee was given the responsibility to start to do some investigation. Also asked the audit subcommittee to engage in some investigations regarding all the allegations that were in the draft report.
If the minister has to appoint this institutional review committee, Mr. Hilton, isn't that a concession that the board you lead has been a failure?
Well, I don't think so. And the reason why I would say that is that there are some nuances regarding the nature of the institution that we're talking about, University Hospital, right? One is that the University Hospital of the West Indies is a bit of a hybrid, right? It falls somewhat under the public framework, policy framework. It also has its own legislation. It is partially owned by the University of the West Indies, right? And it is partially owned and controlled by regional governments. So there are many nuances and many aspects and components. So I think a big part of the mandate, and this is something that has been debated many times, but nobody has ever come to a conclusion as to, what this institution really is, what it represents, and what rules and so on are really applicable to it, right? And I think a big part of the mandate of the committee is to help to make those distinctions and to make those clarifications so that we can create the proper operating framework for the University Hospital of the West Indies.
The nuance...
Because different people look at it as different things, which is a part of the issue, which is one of the reasons why I say we have to be very careful about how we conclude on, the breaches and the nature of the breaches, and it gets even more complex because the University Hospital has private entities which the hospital owns or controls, and some of them are partially owned by the University of the West Indies. For example, there is a Mona Institute of Sciences. There is a Tony Sweet Hospital wing, which is a private company owned by the hospital, the public hospital itself. Right? So there are many aspects and components and nuances.
Considering the nuances, complexities, and components you just mentioned, would you say then those in any way has caused the board to be uncertain about the scope of its authority?
No, I don't think so. Because if you notice the way in which the board is comprised, a part of the board is named by the minister, right? A number of members of the board. A number of members of the board are actually named by the Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies. And then, who represents the regional aspects of it. And then there are some other associations and so on, which, like the Medical Association, which is entitled to membership on the board.
So if you are certain of your authority and the scope of your authority, and the portfolio minister, because of these gaps, has had to call on eminent people to sit above or in tandem with the board to do an institutional review, I go back to the original question. Doesn't this mean that this board has been a failure?
No, and I go back to my response. Two things. One, I'm saying that there was a board which existed before September.
Were they a failure?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that board was a failure. And in any institution, right? Remember, a lot of these things are coming. This report was a period from 2019 to 2025, right? And what we are seeing is that many of the practices would have predated the previous board. If you want to mark a point in time, we could say that board would have started the first board meeting was March of 2024, right? And then the Auditor General came in March of 2025, which was a year later, right? There was an exercise which had started on procurement by the internal audit function a month before the Auditor General came in. But a lot of his activities were subsumed by the focus on responding to the Auditor General, right? That internal audit report, I think, wasn't completed until probably about May or June, and didn't get to the board to be considered before the board had resigned in time for the election, right? So, you know, there are a number of different aspects and components to it which would have precluded the board from having the kind of insight it would have needed into what was happening in the compliance function. I mean, there are other areas where the board had focused its attention, and many of those areas, you know, had received the benefit of that attention. It's just that for that particular period, between March 2024 and March 2025, compliance was not part of the focus of the audit, the internal audit function.
So they dropped the ball.
No, they didn't drop the ball. They can't focus everything. Every company that does audits, you have a period in which you focus on one area, then you shift to another area, then you shift to the other. You don't audit on all areas at all times. You wouldn't have the capacity to do that.
Final one from me. Can you assure the Jamaican people that as soon as you are able to, you will name these companies?
As soon as it is appropriate, whether it is also name them or somebody else. Yeah, I have no issues, you know. Once I am clear that I'm on the good, solid legal ground for you know, making those disclosures, I am fine. If the disclosure had been in the Auditor General's report, I would have been fine. Clearly, the Auditor General, for some reason, didn't think it was appropriate. I don't know if they got legal advice in that regard, right? And I don't want to go down the road of making disclosures without the benefit of that advice. I don't think it would be responsible of me to do that.
Yeah. And can you also...
In fact, I would say it would be irresponsible of me to do that.
Yeah. And can you also assure the Jamaican people that what we're seeing here is not a consequence of any kind of cronyism, friendships, relationships going back to high school perhaps, that have not been dealt with frontally as they should have been?
I don't know what is behind it. There's an investigation that is going on. Evidence is being gathered. My expectation is that the next step will lead to, you know, perhaps charges being made and people being asked to explain what transpired, you know, and to give justification for what actions it took or didn't take. And then from that, you know, decisions and consequences will flow. That's how the process works.
And finally, from me, what would you say to patients?
And I want to say this because I know you guys know that. I understand everybody wants to, you know, I don't want to use the word sensationalize, but everybody is anxious to see something happen. We are anxious as well.
Yeah.
But we also have to be responsible in how we go about it.
Last one from me. What would you say to patients, staff, and taxpayers who are concerned about accountability, transparency, and trust in the management of UHWI?
No, and I would say to them that we are just as concerned. We are perhaps even more concerned, given the role and responsibility that we have, and we are going to fix it. And that's the first thing, right? As you know, I've said to others, we can't change history, right? It has occurred. What we can change is the future. What we can change is the behavior going forward. And, you know, we have initiated that process. We are on the road where that is concerned. We have been institutionalizing a number of changes in the way in which the business operates. And, you know, as I said to some of the senior people there, we have to use this crisis, make sure we don't waste it, and use it as an opportunity to become exemplary as an institution in terms of how we execute the procurement function.
Yeah.
That is the least that we owe to Jamaican people.
We're out of time. Also, Mr. Hilton, may I congratulate you on your appointment as president of the PSOJ.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
All right. Patrick Hilton is the chairman of the board of directors of the University Hospital of the West Indies. The headlines are next.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
4 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Shalois Michael. Foreign Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith has confirmed that Jamaica is one of 75 countries whose U.S. immigrant visa processing has been suspended indefinitely. The State Department says the indefinite pause will take effect on January 21. An immigrant visa is a document allowing foreign nationals to permanently live in the United States while they await the issuance of a green card. Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith says the pause does not affect visas for students, tourists, business, or visas which are part of seasonal work programs. She says the embassy will provide further clarity on the matter once they are able. Opposition spokesman on health and wellness, Dr. Alfred Dawes, says a failure of ministerial oversight is to be blamed for the findings of an Auditor General's report into the operations at the University Hospital of the West Indies.
The Auditor General has now confirmed what I have been warning about for over a year. No procurement documents were found for $521 million in contracts awarded by the University Hospital of the West Indies. That is not a clerical error. This is a serious failure of governance. For more than a year, I raised concerns about procurement practices across the Ministry of Health and its agencies. Each time, the minister assured the country that systems were sound and functioning properly. The Auditor General has now shown that this was simply not true.
On Tuesday, it was revealed that the fraud squad was probing the revelation that the hospital unlawfully used its tax exemption status to import goods for at least 3 private companies. The Auditor General's report found that the use of the UHWI's tax exemption status resulted in more than $20 million in revenues being lost for the government. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has since appointed a committee to address the accountability gaps at the hospital. But Dr. Dawes is also criticizing that move.
Despite repeated public assurances from Health Minister Christopher Tufton, hundreds of millions of dollars were committed without basic documentation. When procurement fails, hospitals go without equipment. Healthcare workers are left unsupported and patients pay the price. A system cannot credibly investigate itself. A committee appointed by the minister to probe the failures he presided over is like a man on trial choosing his own jury.
Dr. Alfred Dawes, opposition spokesman on health and wellness. Minister with responsibility for technology, Dr. Andrew Wheatley, says persons who maliciously use artificial intelligence AI may face up to 20 years in prison under coming amendments to the Cybercrimes Act.
Well, I would say to them that cease and desist, because the amendments to the Cybercrime Act, which will come into effect soon when it is tabled in Parliament shortly, maybe next week, that it will become a crime punishable up to 20 years. You know, if one should generate these images of persons and in fact defaming persons by using artificially generated images. Well, we are looking to table the amended Cybercrimes Act, hopefully next week.
The UK government announced the plans to criminalize the use of AI to generate sexual images of persons without their consent by the end of the week. The move comes in response to a growing trend to the use of Grok AI feature on the social media platform X to carry out the act. Dr. Wheatley says he's in support of criminalizing those acts.
Yes, definitely. It's my personal opinion as minister, but I'm sure that the Artificial Intelligence Task Force will, create policies around that to govern the whole discussion, the whole use of artificial intelligence.
Dr. Andrew Wheatley, Minister with responsibility for technology. The Manchester police say they've exhausted all efforts in locating 12-year-old Jaden Smith. The Manchester High student was reported missing on September 26 last year. Commanding officer for the division, Superintendent Kerry Duncan, provided an update on Wednesday.
In my 35 years of serving the Jamaica Constabulary Force, I have never seen so much effort put into finding a missing person than I have seen put into this one. Your Manchester police have exhausted every lead that we have received as it relates to Jaden. Unfortunately, to date, we are nowhere near closer to where we want to be. But I'll just tell you how serious it is. That we have also have persons calling us to say that them dream that Jaden is in a particular location. And we have sent out our teams to go and check.
Since Smith's disappearance, the police, family members, and members of the school community have been on the lookout for him. There have also been reports of Jaden being spotted in the Mandeville area in the week of his disappearance. Superintendent Duncan says efforts to locate the boy will continue.
We are leaving no stones unturned to find out where Jaden is. And the effort continues. The investigation is well advanced. We have interviewed several persons. We have canvassed several areas. We have looked at several cameras. We have visited several locations. A whole lot of work has been put into finding Jaden.
Superintendent Kerry Duncan, head of the Manchester Police Division. Jaden is of dark complexion, slim built, and about 5 feet tall. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Shaloy Smichael. Sports is next.
Yo, check this out. This is Ding Dong Ravers, one of your patrons for the Sagicor Sigma Run 2026. And this year, we are bringing out the best as we run, walk, and wheel for the West.
Hi, this is Lisa Hanno, and I'm proud to be a patron for this run in aid of funds to repair and rebuild schools damaged by Hurricane Melissa.
Hey, Public Civil here. I spent my whole life trying to break records, but this record is going to be special.
We're aiming to raise a record $150 million for children in the West.
Well, everybody come jump up, lace up, wheel up, donate some money, everybody sign up. We are run for the West.
Sign up now at SagicorSigmaRun.com.
This season is the time. Digital is gifting smiles. Gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile. 64 people to win a grand prize. 250K to help you to gift a smile. Plus groceries and farming supplies. Keep your loved ones in mind. Gift a smile. Sharing the love from me to you. Samsung tablet video and your crew. Gift a smile, gift a smile. This season, make sure everybody good. Digital is helping you to gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile.
In times of loss, sharing information matters. Nationwide 90 FM offers professional obituary announcements, ensuring family, friends, and communities are informed with care and dignity.
It's been a long day.
Obituaries are aired weekdays at 8:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 7:30 p.m. When it's important to reach people, let us help you do so respectfully. Contact our sales team today, 876-630-1210 or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com for more information. Nationwide 90 FM, informing Jamaica with care.
Good evening with your sports report. I'm Alric Swaby. We kick things off with some football as Racing United has returned to the top of the Rare Never Jamaica Premier League standings thanks to a clinical 4-1 win over Treasure Beach at Jewsland on Wednesday. Talisman Nickel Ellis opened the scoring on 53 minutes. Captain Markovich Brown doubled the advantage 7 minutes later. Savannah Williams scored the third in the 69th minute before Jaheim Williams applied the gloss in the 90 plus 5 minutes. Coach of Racing Anthony Patrick says he's still searching for an out-and-out striker.
We still need that number 9. All those that are statistics score goal, all those that are midfielders, all in midfielders and wide players. No number 9, but we still manage to get 4 goals. But if we have a number 9 today, that double number 9, I think with that the score margin was wider, way wider.
Racing joined Montego Bay United at the top on 32 points, but they have a better goal difference. In another game on Wednesday, Donby Holding and Mullines United ended 1-1. Odain Samuels gave Donby Holding the lead on 54 minutes, but Damar McLaughlin fashioned an equalizer for Mullines in the 70th minute. 4 more games are on schedule for Thursday, including leaders Montego Bay United against Tivoli Gardens at the Edward Chiago Stadium. The other games involve Waterhouse away to Harbourview at Compound, Portmore United versus Spanish Town Police in a St. Catherine Derby at Ferdinita Park, and champions Chapelton Maroons against Arnett Gardens at Turner's. All games are scheduled to start at 3 p.m. Host Morocco came through a gripping Africa Cup of Nations semi-final a short while ago in Rabat and in the end beat Nigeria's Super Eagles 4-2 on penalties to book a spot in Sunday's final. The teams went the distance after 90 minutes, and not even a 30 minutes of extra time could break the goalless scoreline. On Sunday, they will face Senegal, who booked their passage to the final after beating Egypt 1-0 in Tangier. Former Liverpool star Sadio Mane got the winner in a cagey contest in the 76th minute.
Finds Mane in a bit of space, little ball in for Jackson, cut out by the Egyptian defence. Now another long-range effort. Kamada. Mane! Goal! Sadio Mane with a touch of fortune.
Touch of fortune, but at the same time, touch of class.
Now, league leaders Arsenal beat Chelsea 3-2 in an exciting first leg of semi-final 2 in the Carabao Cup at Stamford Bridge in London on Wednesday. Arsenal led 2-0 with Ben White and Victor Yukovic and on target before Alejandro Garnacho pulled Chelsea back into the game. A third Arsenal goal from Martin Zubimendi sealed the win, but not before Garnacho added another for Chelsea.
In goes the corner from Rice, and it's headed down and headed in by Ben White. White's ball into the box, spilled by Robert Sanchez, and converted by Victor Gyökeres. Knocked up toward the back post, Garnacho! That's huge for Chelsea. Round the corner beautifully, great feet, and that restores Arsenal's 2-goal advantage. Alejandro Garnacho off the bench with 2 crucial Chelsea goals. It's 3-2.
The teams will meet again in the second leg at the Emirates in 2 weeks. People from a number of countries who have qualified for the 2026 FIFA World Cup have been issued travel bans by the United States. The bans imposed by President Donald Trump means their fans will not be able to travel to America this summer. The tournament is being jointly hosted by the USA, Mexico, and Canada. The White House said the restrictions are intended to protect the security of the United States and came into force on January 1. A number of exceptions apply. The ban will not affect lawful permanent residents, many existing visa holders, diplomats, or athletes traveling for major sporting events, so teams will be able to play at the tournament. The countries that have had a full ban imposed include Haiti, Iran, and Congo. Some countries have partial restrictions, including the Ivory Coast. President Trump has recently issued warnings to several nations amid ongoing tensions with Venezuela. of 2026 World Cup nations. 2 have been given warnings: Colombia and the tournament's co-host, Mexico. Now to cricket, the West Indies will open their campaign at the ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup on Thursday morning Jamaica time when they face Tanzania in Namibia starting at 2:30. The 2026 champions will be looking to improve on their 5th place finish in the last tournament in 2024. As part of their build-up to the tournament this week, the emerging Caribbean stars crushed Japan by 229 runs in a warm-up game. Coach Ron Nurse has been impressed with the maturity of the squad in adapting to the climate, pitches, and the overall environment since arriving in southern Africa.
The conditions here, the climate is quite hot and humid, and being higher in altitude, the air is thinner, so that as well is going through. But I think the players are slowly but surely getting there, and the staff has worked very hard behind the scenes to put things in place to help them, and they are complying quite well. So we're happy with where we are right now.
Jamaica will be hunting their first victory of the 2026 CWI Women's T20 Blaze when they face Barbados in the opening match of a triple header at Honnestville on Thursday starting at 9:30 a.m. The Jamaicans are coming off a narrow 9-run defeat to the Leeward Islands in their tournament opener on Tuesday. Chasing a target of 109 for victory, Jamaica struggled to build momentum and were eventually restricted to 99 for 8 from their allotted 20 overs. Shadi Nation was the standout performer with the bat for Jamaica, top scoring with a patient 48, but she received a little support as wickets fell at regular intervals. Thursday's clash against Barbados presents an important opportunity for Jamaica to get their campaign back on track as they look to stay in contention in the competitive regional tournament. In the other matches on the day, the Windward Islands will take on Trinidad and Tobago in the second encounter before defending champions Guyana face the Leeward Islands in the final match of the triple header. And finally, in track and field, Coach Lennox Graham says no definitive plan of action has yet been completed for Danielle Williams' 2026 track and field season, despite the hurdler opening her indoor campaign in an emphatic style at the Clemson Invitational on Saturday. Williams produced a world-leading performance in the women's 60 meters hurdles, storming to victory in 7.94 seconds. The two-time world champion finished ahead of compatriot Onika Williams, who claimed a second in 8.04 as the Jamaican pair dominated the final. Speaking on the Mr. Analyst podcast, Graham explained that the Clemson outing was less about long-term strategy and more about sharpening Williams' competitive edge ahead of the new season.
What we talked about doing for this first meet is to get the race rust off. It may sound weird, but we competed all the way down into September. And if you remember last year, we really didn't do indoors. So just it's coming out this early and running as 60 hurdles, we wanted to just get the race rust off. Looked not so ready to race in the prelims, but in the final, she looked a lot better. It's a great start. 94 is a pretty good opener for anybody, and so I am happy with it.
While a full roadmap for 2026 is still being developed, Graham confirmed that major championships are already in focus. The World Indoor Championships, scheduled for March in Poland, are firmly on their radar as a key target for the season.
We would love to race indoors more than we did last year. Now, if it's going the way we want it to, of course, we would want to be at the World Indoor Championship, yes. For the outdoor season, we've not really decided exactly what we're going to do for the outdoor season. We have an idea, but we haven't really nailed it down and said this is what exactly we're going to do. So we're taking it a step at a time. This right now is the focus is on indoors.
Lennox Graham, I'm Alwick Swiby, and that's your sports.
This season is the time. Digital is gifting smiles. Gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile. 64 people to win a grand prize. 250K to help you to gift a smile. Plus groceries and farming supplies. Keep your loved ones in mind. Gift a smile. Sharing the love from me to you. Samsung tablet video and your crew. Gift a smile, gift a smile. This season, make sure everybody good. Digital is helping you to So give the smile, give the smile, give the smile.
In times of loss, sharing information matters. Nationwide 90 FM offers professional obituary announcements, ensuring family, friends, and communities are informed with care and dignity.
It's been a long day.
Obituaries are aired weekdays at 8:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 7:30 p.m. When it's important to reach people, let us help you do so respectfully. Contact our sales team today, 876-630-1210, or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com for more information. Nationwide 90 FM, informing Jamaica with care.
Every day brings its own pressure. Noise, bills, stress. The things that weigh us down and affect our well-being. That's why Nationwide 90 FM has created Wellness, a daily program designed to guide your focus on your physical, mental, emotional, and financial health. Real conversations, trusted experts, practical advice. No judgment and no quick fixes. Just meaningful steps towards better living. Wellness, weeknights from 7:30 to 8 p.m. Only on Nationwide 90 FM. Because progress is a process. It happens one day at a time.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. A special greetings to our YouTubers. Thank you so much for tuning in. We invite you to weigh in live in the comment section on today's Public Opinion. So let's get to it. Jamaica's Foreign Minister, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, she has confirmed that Jamaica is one of 75 countries whose U.S. immigrant visa processing has been suspended indefinitely. Now, the news first reported by Fox News in the United States sent jitters through the local and diaspora communities. The State Department confirmed the visa suspensions today. It did not explicitly name Jamaica. It says the indefinite pause will take effect on January 21. No, let me just define what this is. An immigrant visa is a document allowing foreign nationals to permanently live in the United States while they await the issuance of a green card. It's quite different from a non-immigrant visa, which you can go to the embassy and get, whether you are going for business, to as a tourist, as a student. Yeah, that's a non-immigrant visa. So the question in Public Opinion we're asking, what's your reaction to the U.S. pausing immigrant visa processing for 75 countries, including Jamaica? Now, I'm going to give you my unfiltered reaction. The first reaction, when I first saw this story, I was like, Why Jamaica have always in everything? And then in my head, I'm like, geez, I'm P. Medora close. I'm gonna really get, what we're supposed to get. That was my unfiltered reaction when I initially saw, until I read everything in its entirety and came to an understanding of what exactly it was. No, thanks be to God, it wasn't the other way around. It wasn't the other processing. All right, let's get to it. Marcia Winter on our Facebook platform saying, it's not our country, so they set their rules. Every head of a household set their rules. It's either you abide by it or you look somewhere else. No need to cuss and quarrel. It is what it is. Audley Phillips saying, this must not be confused and construed with the regular visa application, which is unaffected for most of the countries named. This new instruction only applies to the processing of green cards for new applicants. Indeed, Vivian Hanchard saying, it's nothing new. In past time, you had to convince the U.S. you will not be a burden on the state before immigration status is granted. She's questioning, would you allow someone in your home you have to support? Well, another mouth to feed is, that's a tough one. George Elliott saying, the opposition having received blood. Okay, wow. Very ticklish comment here, George Elliott. Looking to put me into some hot waters. All right. Mervyn Campbell saying, U.S. doesn't need anyone in their country who is not a born American. Right now, all these pause of visa applications connotes and prove that one should not have an open mind and want to fly to that country. There are so many countries that this world consists of. No need to run into a country that you have not been welcome. This pause of immigrants' visa gonna further contribute to non-immigrants falling into the same line. And he's saying, watch out. Carlington Bartley, doesn't matter who occupy the Oval Office. POTUS must be respected at all time, especially those with a different nationality. Yeah? Can we get cooler air all year? That's a question coming from Kian. Prince Wellington, Uncle Donald is sending a cryptic message that he knows what's going on with the illicits and the money launderers and the ministers who... Okay. All right. Yeah. Philip Jackson, well, they must have their reasons. I think it may be a financial concern, but besides that, why exempt those two Caribbean countries? I smell nepotism mixed with oil. Where is the level playing field when it comes into the Caribbean? This is a transactional wish to invite indecency to sit around the table and at the exchange for decency. Okay, Philip Jackson, I hear you. Winston, Jamaica has to be in it because a big bright Jamaican flag was seen waving in an anti-U.S. protest in Venezuela after the capture of Nicolas Maduro. Mr. Jamaica just in everything. Mel Boo says, God and time. And Cheryl Griffith saying, their country, their rules. Time for people of color to stand together and build their own country. What's your reaction to the U.S. pausing immigrant visa processing for 75 countries, including Jamaica? On our Instagram, Radane saying, Jamaicans dash with idea of brain drain. Make Jamaica great again. Okay. Shani is saying, we got to learn to live without the U.S. Are we willing to make the sacrifice? Robert Gregory Lewis, let us observe what is to come. Yeah, is that a hint that there's more to come? It's Jalen says, good, we should be focused on Jamaica now, but this will just lead to more of us going to England or Canada. Okay. Fido Peterson is saying Bruce Golding. That's just it. That's the comment. Willie Ryan Wilson, the USA has to do what it thinks is best for its country and people. However, it's very sad and unfair to people who have been waiting for years to get their immigrant visa around this time. I spoke to somebody earlier telling me that they know of somebody who waiting for their immigrant visa for over 20 years. Yeah? Let's see what's happening on our YouTube platform. Your reaction to the U.S. pausing immigrant visa processing. Let's go. LPY saying, if stop call Bruce Golding name, big and broad, just like that. Stop call Bruce Golding name. Merlin says all the financial law has changed by USA. More like I smell gas, says SMD. And Diane is questioning, is America heaven? Is America heaven? Let's see if we can get in a few more. Very good. Our population will now not be in a declined state. Teachers, nurses, and doctors will now serve them own a country. That's coming from Papa. Josephine says, I have no intention to live in America, so it don't bother me. Yeah, it don't bother me. Donovan Phillips, USA, make $25 million last year from Jamaicans looking visa. Now you see them, some of them get turned down, and this is the non-immigrant we're referring to. The passport for life, I know 3 people who waited for 20 years. They finally got through. Yeah, a lot of people have been waiting for decades. Frank White, can't tell Trump how to run things, so anything. Philip Jackson, my question is, if they say it's to make sure people don't become a burden on the USA, why not level the playing field? This is like having a problem with a batch of care, but call in some. Okay. If you say make we build up the country, plus one country is not equivalent to the entire world. You know how the world big and nice? Travel and Broadway rising as stop make one country feel like them a god. All right. Novelet says, all the nurses and teachers, America, America, and America, what? What are they saying now? Yeah? What are they saying now? According to Maureen McKenzie, stay our country and bill it. Yeah? Stay our country and bill it. Litchi is saying, I care zero. I'm 49 years old and I never try for a US visa. I am doing great. Yeah? According to Diane says, me too old for go live in America now, yeah? Too old for go America go live. Nadine Dockery says, I'm proud to be a Jamaican. Could have never been nothing else. Hope it's okay to join BRICS. Casey says, hope it's okay to join BRICS. All right. Papa said, but look at this. Maduro was a dictator for only Venezuela. Isn't Trump? Okay, all right. One for the world. These are the views of our listeners or viewers. Judith says, that don't worry me. Canada easier to go, but the cold is brutal. That's according to Passport for Life. A lot of comments coming in on this one. We can make life in Jamaica according to Merlin P. Orinthia is questioning, what can we do, although I am here on vacation? Yeah? Jamaica man have enough. Calvin Daly. Okay, I see your comment. I see your comment about oil and Jamaican men, and I'll leave it at that. More working class people will stay and build JA. That's coming from a user. A lot of comments coming in on this one. We suspect we will hear more about this as it all progresses. Thank you so much for participating in Public Opinion. The Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:36. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. In a major move, the NCB Financial Group has underwritten more than $15 billion in senior secured financing to support Jamaica Broilers Group, JBG, as the company moves to stabilize its operations. This means NCB has committed to provide or secure the funds for JBG, even if it must initially carry some or all the financing on its own balance sheet. JBG is also seeking to execute a revised strategy following recent accounting and operational challenges in its overseas operations. The financing package comes amid heightened scrutiny of JBG's U.S. business, where the company recently disclosed accounting matters that adversely affected cash flows, profitability, and its consolidated financial results. China announced a record export number for 2025, a year when U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs and trade policy
caused turmoil in the global economy. Beijing on Wednesday reported the world's largest ever trade surplus, the value of goods and services sold overseas compared to its imports, at $1.19 trillion. It's the first time China's full-year trade surplus has passed $1 trillion, beating 2024's record figure of $993 billion. And finally, in the currency markets, at the close of trading today, it cost 158 Jamaican dollars and 71 cents to buy $1, 213 Jamaican dollars and 12 cents to buy £1 British pound, and 114 Jamaican dollars and 13 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
In times of loss, sharing information matters. Nationwide 90 FM offers professional obituary announcements, ensuring family, friends, and communities are informed with care and dignity.
It's been a long day.
Obituaries are aired weekdays at 8:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 7:30 p.m. When it's important to reach people, let us help you do so respectfully. Contact our sales team today, 876-630-1210, or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com for more information. Nationwide 90 FM, informing Jamaica with care.
Taboo topics, bulletins after dark,
riveting discussions,
celebrity news and interviews,
topics that are shunned by society,
and everything else in between.
Boyatings After Dark with Kareem Boyatings, each and every Wednesday, 8 to 11 p.m.
Boyatings After Dark.
No topic is too taboo or hard to discuss. Come get your mind blown and your curiosity explored.
Boyatings After Dark.
As we grow older, there are many challenges that we have to confront, but these years can represent the best in our lives. Coming of Age during Nationwide This Morning on Thursdays explores issues persons 50 and over confront. It also provides expert opinions on how we can improve the quality of our lives as we get older. That's Coming of Age, this and every Thursday during Nationwide This Morning at 6:51 a.m.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton, weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, by God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path. Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
As a parent, you give your children a good start in life. You nurture, protect, and guide them. Parenting is a process that prepares your child for independence. As your child grows and develops, there are many things you can do to help your child. Stay tuned to The Big Show, Nationwide This Morning, for parenting tips. Fridays at 6:53 a.m. Only here will you learn everything you need to know about parenting. Tips to help parents navigate the incredibly challenging and rewarding journey of child rearing. Parenting tips on Nationwide at 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Good evening to you. Thank you so much for staying with us. And if you're just joining us, hello. Welcome to Nationwide at 5. We're in the segment called Nation's Business. And can I say a special good evening to my friends of Big Yard? I'm going to do a better job of ensuring that when you look at me on the screen, I'm doing what I should do. Yeah,
that's the new name, Big Yard.
Yeah, but big up the Big Yard massive. Yeah. All right. What's in the Nation's Business, Sanjay?
Well, listeners, Jamaica's Foreign Affairs Minister, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, has confirmed that Jamaica is one of 75 countries whose U.S. immigrant visa processing has been suspended indefinitely. The news, first reported by Fox News in the United States, has sent jitters through the local and diaspora communities. The State Department confirmed that visa suspensions on Wednesday, but did not explicitly name Jamaica.
It says the indefinite pause will take effect on January 21. Shalois Michael has more in this report.
An immigrant visa is a document allowing foreign nationals to permanently live in the United States while they await the issuance of a green card. But the door has seemingly been closed on the dream held by many. On Wednesday, the U.S. State Department said it instructed consular officers to halt immigrant visa applications from 75 countries across the globe. It's the latest in a string of immigration crackdowns announced by the Trump administration. In a social media post, the State Department says it's aiming to pause the visa processing for immigrants who take welfare from the American people at unacceptable rates. It says the freeze will remain active until the U.S. can ensure that new immigrants will not extract wealth from Americans. The suspension will not apply to those seeking non-immigrant, temporary tourist or business visas. The full list of countries under the policy has not been officially released, but several media reports named 11 Caribbean countries among the 75, Jamaica being one of them. In a social media post, Senator Johnson-Smith confirmed the news, but she says the pause does not affect visas for students, tourists, business, or visas which are part of the seasonal work programs. She says these continue to be processed at the U.S. Embassy in Kingston. Minister Johnson-Smith says the embassy will provide further clarity on the matter once they are able. Shalois Michael for Nationwide News.
Thanks, Shaloy. Joining us now, we have immigration attorney Opal Lee and attorney at law Wayne Golding. He's from the Golding Law Group, a former member of the Diaspora Advisory Board. Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
All right. Opal Lee, let me start with you because there are a lot of questions here in Jamaica. What have you been able to ascertain so far?
All right, then everybody's in a panic mode right now, especially, of course, in Jamaica, because there are people who had their family members filing for them, their spouses in the United States, and they were waiting. Some people already had an interview scheduled or have an interview scheduled, and it's after January 21, so now they're wondering, oh my goodness, is it going to be canceled? And what I would tell those people is that to sit tight, because as you know, everybody knows the U.S. Embassy is awaiting instructions as well. So if they're going to cancel those, they, of course, will notify the applicant. But, you know, this only affects immigrant visas. So if it's your parent filing for you, your spouse, your child, and you're planning to migrate to the United States, that is who is affected. And another question that people are asking, okay, the pause begins January 21, but when will it end? And so they've announced that this is indefinite, and it's until the department conducts a reassessment of their immigrant visa processing, meaning they're going to have to go over it, see if it's being done properly, and to see if there's any changes they have to make sure that when they do issue an immigrant visa, that the person is not likely to become a public charge. And, you know, right here on Nationwide, I spoke about it before that in November, if you remember, in November 2025, they had actually, the department had actually issued certain directives to consulates where they were telling them to look at certain things like the age of the parties, You know, people are talking about, oh, if I'm obese, that means I'm not going to get it. Well, that's what they're doing. They're tightening those up right now and making sure that they have proper methods in place to make sure when they do issue the visas, if they do, that person is not likely to become a public charge.
If I could just follow up, Sanjay, on that with Opal, because as it is now, when people go Opal, let's say my mom is filing for me, and that can happen up to what age?
Right. So if your mother is a U.S. citizen, she can file for you any time, no matter how old you are, and it doesn't matter if you're married or not. If your mom, though, is a permanent residents only can file for unmarried children. Again, it doesn't matter how old you are, but you have to be single, free, single, and disengaged. So you have to be unmarried.
So let's say my mom is filing for me. I'm married, and I go. As it is now, I would have to prove that I can obtain a job in the United States, or does that not matter as it is now?
No, so what would happen is that your mother would generally have to fill out an I-864, which is an affidavit of support, to show that she is able to provide for you financially and that you're not likely to enter the United States and start, going on government funds, right? And earn accessing government funds. If she's not able to, there's something in place right now where we'll use a joint sponsor who will also have to complete that I-864 affidavit of support, and that joint sponsor will have to be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident and will need to show that that person has the requisite income to kind of help out your mom, to make sure that if you do go and access government funds, it's a contract between them and the government of the U.S. government, that they could actually go back and say, wait a minute now, you went and got Medicaid, or you went and got some welfare and food stamps. So we're going to go back and we're going to get that money from you because you had signed an affidavit of support saying that you were going to be responsible for this immigrant.
So essentially, finally, as it is now, it is the person doing the filing who has to prove that they can afford you. You can't independently say, well, here's my degree, or here's how much I have in my bank account. It's a person who's doing the filing that takes on the burden.
Well, actually both, because what they will look at too, they look at the immigrant financial position. So what they will look at is what's your education, for example, how much money you independently have in what's your worth or your household income. So, for example, if you are being filed for right now and it shows that you have a lot of debt, for example, a lot of student loans, a lot of credit card debt, it could negatively affect it. But if you have like a degree, a higher level education and degree, and you could show them that when you enter the United States, you're not going to be dependent on the government to pay your expenses, because guess what? You are a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, something, and it shows that you're going to contribute positively to the U.S. economy, then you're more likely to be found that you're not going to become a public charge, you're not going to be dependent on the government funds, so it's likely that your application as an immigrant will be approved.
Got you.
Yeah. And Wayne Golding, what are those within legal circles saying about this decision? And does the U.S. State Department appear to be on solid legal ground in making it?
Well, it's a discretionary decision on the part of the State Department and locally here in the United States, the USCIS. People have to understand that immigration or migration to the United States through legal channels is not a right. It's a privilege. And it's governed by rules and policies that these agencies and the State Department comes up with. From time to time, they might add things, they might take away things. But it's a reflection of what U.S. policy is towards immigration. For example, legal immigration at one point was meant to reunify families. Now it's changed. The policy is more towards getting the brightest and the best and the richest to America. And so them looking at legal immigration and pronouncing that now we're going to pause, we're going to revamp how we actually look at people, whether or not they meet the poverty guidelines that we have established over the years, and whether we can determine if someone will be, or most likely will be, a charge on the government once they arrive here, is upending everything. But it's within their purview to do that. nobody has the right to bring somebody here over what the rules are. So they have good legal grounds. There are going to be challenges, obviously, maybe on a constitutional side. But in our opinion, people that I've spoken to, experienced people in the legal field, immigration attorneys especially, they know that the rubrics, the rules, the changes belong in the office of the president, because Congress has ceded some of that or most of that authority to the president. So moving forward, as we have advised people in every filing that's done for an immigrant visa, which means a visa to come to the United States to live permanently, we advise them, do not change your life until you get a full approval. It's always our advice to them, do not sell your house, do not stop going to school, do not quit your job, do not sell your land, do not sell your car, don't start giving away stuff until you're actually granted that visa. So now this pause, which is indefinite, will mean that the processing time will be longer, and not only that, they can refuse your visa without even telling you why, an immigrant visa. And sadly, there's no form of appeal in those situations. So they're telling us now the pause is because we're worried about people coming to the United States and are going to be in the government coffers. But they already have things in place to guarantee, as Opal said, there's a contract that is signed that can be enforced between the parties to say, you promised to support me when I came into the country, you must support me, and the government is going to back me because you signed this contract, not to have me go out there and take advantage of the public welfare.
Which leads me to my next question, Opal, because as Wayne Golden indicated, there are already protections in place to justify if someone decides to come and then be a burden on the public purse. Isn't there then any legal grounds that someone could then challenge this decision by the State Department?
No, but here's the thing, and that's why I'm pretty sure that, I'm pretty sure there are going to be challenges, but as Wayne just correctly pointed out, this is actually a discretionary measure, right? And so even though there may be challenges, it's going to be very difficult for this to be for this to be defeated. But I think what a lot of people are asking, why are these countries singled out? Are these countries likely to become a public choice? But I think that's a question in everybody. Jamaicans. Are Jamaicans going there and going on welfare? Are the people from Bahamas, for example? So they're on the list as well. Barbados. Why are they singling out these African and Caribbean countries, but not certain other countries? And I think that's, I don't know the answer, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, and we should tell the listeners that it's virtually the entire Caribbean that has been added to this list. I think the exceptions are only Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana that have not been added, and you can speculate as to why. Opally, Wayne talked about the length of time that sometimes this takes. In your practice, talk to me a little bit about the emotional toll, because I recall I knew a lady, and she was just constantly anxious about it in relation to her son, constantly anxious. Talk to me about what you see in your practice, about how people process and wait and what that does to them emotionally. Oh, sorry, we lost Opal. Trying to reconnect. Wayne, how about you? What do you normally see in that respect as it relates to the emotions?
Well, there's a lot of anxieties. People have been separated for years from their loved ones. They've worked hard to make it possible to file for them, to bring them here. In some instances, you have siblings who...
Wayne?
Wayne?
Oh, no. We've lost Wayne as well. All right, so we're trying to reconnect with Opal Lee and Wayne Golding. Yes, Sanjay, I recall, and she day after day, she had gone through all the steps. I think the last, if I recall correctly, the last step had been the medical. Opal? No, not hearing her. the last.
Yes, I'm back. Yes, I'm back. I'm back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was asking you, Opal, about the emotional toll this process usually takes in ordinary times. In terms of what you've seen in your practice, talk to me about the emotional toll.
Listen, it is very draining because there's so many families who want to have their family members join them in the United States, right? I remember speaking with people who are worried about, leaving their minor children or even their adult children or maybe in certain areas that may be subject to violence, right? And they're like, oh my God, I need to get them out. So they've been waiting over time. I mean, especially if they're one of those who are subject to waiting for a priority date to become current, such as an adult child. And they've already been waiting 9 years. And can you imagine you already have an interview scheduled now for, let's say, March or for February, and you are so close to that goalpost, and now it's being moved again. So I know this is going to have tremendous impact on those people. I already got so many calls today on this one issue, and I've been trying to reassure them. I said, listen, we don't know yet. Let's just see if the U.S. Embassy, I have clients right now who are already set for March in Kingston. We don't know. We just have to wait to see if they're going to get canceled. More likely than not, it will be canceled, but we just have to wait.
So you're saying, Opal, if somebody has an interview, let's say for January 22, or the day after it takes effect, that's it? The door closes for them indefinitely?
Right, but I think I saw where the U.S. Embassy posted something earlier today where it says, for right now, they're continuing, interviews are being continued. It says interview appointments will continue as scheduled, but I think they're waiting. Remember, this just happened today, so I think they're waiting for the instructions. So we just have to just wait.
Do you believe, Opal, that Jamaica has sufficient diplomatic leverage to seek clarification, exemptions, or a review of this, of its inclusion on the list?
Oh, absolutely. And they should. They should go for it, and they should try and see why it is that Jamaicans are listed. Because to what I know of I have a lot of Jamaican clients, and, the Jamaicans tend to be very proud and not to go on welfare, and, they're very independent people. So I want to know why Jamaicans are on that.
Yes.
Wayne, don't you agree with me, Wayne? Come on.
Is Wayne back?
The old adage states that Jamaicans have more than one job, and there's a reason for that. When they come here, they work very hard to push themselves forward to help their families. And of course, there are going to be those exceptions, but I don't think there's an inordinate amount of Jamaicans who are taking advantage of government welfare here in the United States. However, U.S. immigration policy is like the big stick. They might squeeze you in one way to get something else out of you. And what I want to tell folks is that these things don't happen overnight. The warning was fired a while back, and I'm sure the people in the diplomatic corps have been scratching their head how to approach, how to negotiate. But you have to realize that Jamaica is in a position of weakness like so many other countries in the world. And when you're going into negotiations, you have to look at your best alternatives versus your worst alternatives and versus what leverage you have to bring to the table. So I know that most likely the government of Jamaica is not surprised. Through diplomatic channels, they might have been informed that this is going to happen. However, you have to remember this. They're fighting for people who are leaving the country, or they would be fighting for people who would be moving to another country, Jamaicans moving to another country. So the emphasis might be more on keeping the visitors, the business visas, the work visas alive versus those who are moving away from the country permanently.
We should read the advisory from the U.S. Embassy here in Kingston. It says the U.S. Department of State has announced an indefinite pause on immigrant visas IV issuance for 75 countries, including Jamaica, effective January 21, 2026. But then the next line says IV interview appointment will continue as scheduled. This announcement only affects immigrant visas non-immigrant visas are not affected by the pause announced today. I'm not sure this is very clear, because on one hand it says it takes effect January 21, and then it's saying that the interview appointments will continue as scheduled. Does that mean continue up to
until
January 21?
That's what I get from it.
Yeah. Is that your understanding of it?
And that's why I spoke about that a little bit earlier, because I did see that and I was like, what are they talking about? I mean, aren't they going to cancel those that are set for January 22 and onward? And that's why I'm saying, maybe they will just update us further.
Yeah.
And if you realize these are announcements that need to be backed up by rules.
Yeah.
As attorneys, we go by the rules. We have not seen what the rules are, what it means to deny somebody for this reason, if there's going to be an appellate process. We don't know. And so that's what we wake up with every day, with this unsureness about how this administration is moving. It's almost like a knee-jerk type of thing. So we don't even know if come the 21st, if they will change their position.
Yeah. Finally, Opal, in the years that you've been practicing as a U.S. immigration attorney, is this the worst, the most delicate, the most precarious you've ever seen U.S. immigration policy?
I would say so, because it's the first time I've actually seen it affecting Jamaica like this.
How about you, Wayne?
I would say no. It depends on who's in the headlights, so to speak. I've seen them use it as a tool to enforce U.S. policy abroad, or to get countries to kind of change their positions. But I expect worse to come, believe it or not. This is just the beginning. Yes, worse to come. Because during the last time that this administration was in power, they had put out certain things that they never got to do, including trying to eliminate the category where siblings can sponsor siblings. U.S. citizens can sponsor their siblings, which is one of the biggest beneficiary categories to people from the Caribbean.
Well,
so worse is yet to come.
I'm sure a lot of Jamaicans will be hoping you're wrong, Wayne Golding, but let us see. Opal Lee, Wayne Golding, thank you so much for your time as always. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
And you know, Sanjay, what's most frightening about this? There's 3 more years left before Donald Trump leaves office.
And bear in mind, well, we hope, based on what we know and the laws in the U.S., he's not seeking re-election. So therefore, there's nothing that he has to do. And even so, even if he was seeking re-election, Ricardo, he panders to a certain section of the population who they endorse things like these. So, and those are the persons who always support him. So regardless of if he had that opportunity to run again, or if this is his last term, I don't see him doing it any differently at all.
Boy, I can tell you, I don't envy the diplomats just around the road in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs at all. It must be. You know what's amazing?
Yeah.
Usually, when you think about the cabinet appointments, you don't necessarily think of foreign affairs being one of the more difficult or most difficult ones.
Yeah.
But boy, Kamina get it, man.
It's like you're dancing through the raindrops.
Kamina's had a rough time. I don't envy them at all. 6 minutes after 7, we go for the break. Come back with more.
Need to pass your CSEC CAPE exams to get that dream job or to qualify for university? Then Distinction College is the school for you. We have locations in Kingston, Spanish Town, St. Elizabeth, and Ocho Rios. Start day, evening, and Saturday classes this coming term and sit CSEC CAPE exams for January's resit or May, June. Maths, law, science, English. We have the lowest school fees. Register before the end of the month and win an entire term free. Call us at 354-8560.
We're taking your calls now, 630-937-124, 618-6730.
This season is the time. Digicel is gift sing high. Gift a smile, sharing the love from me to you. Some tablet video and you true. Gift a smile, gift a smile. This season, make sure everybody good. Digital is helping you to gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile.
Turn up the heat with Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classifieds feature. If you have a car for sale, room for rent, or yard sale come up. If you look at work or need stuff. If you provide a service, make it a Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classified segment. Your listing plays again and again. From morning till evening. You sing it, we play it. You say it once, Jamaica hears it all day, every hour. Contact our sales team now at 876-630-1210 or sales at nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Hot Listings on Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
Richie, you're up first. Good evening.
Good evening, Richie. Good evening, sirs. I want you guys to educate me. What position Dr. Dawes was in 1 year ago that he was one about Procur's guidelines?
He was the spokesman on health, wasn't he? Yeah.
1 year ago?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. But tell me something. The man that you interviewed a while ago, is he CEO for the
Chairman of the board.
Chairman of the board, yeah. But what did he say? You know anything about it 1 year ago? Did he know anything about it 1 year ago?
What he indicated is that it's a new board that is constituted, and some of the things that they were not aware of some of the things as a new board, and there are also legacy issues coming from the previous board that the previous board would have to answer to, in essence.
So if that is the case, then how Dr. Dawes would know about that he was one about it?
No, but I think he said he was talking about, I don't think he was speaking specifically to this instance, but he was talking about general. That's what I understood him to be saying, general procurement issues.
Okay, we're talking about general.
That's my understanding.
You know why I question it, brother? This man, 2 years ago said it is one people that price him, so I wonder if he was talking the truth. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Yes, man. That's what I wanted to say. That's what I was trying to find out.
Oh, okay. All right, Richie. 630-9371-4, 618-6730. Bobby, good evening.
Yes, good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Sandra.
Good evening, Bobby. How are you?
I'm okay. First, Sandra, how is your people, them down in the west?
All is well, you know. Just need the electricity to be back. So, Mom is on generator, but you know, we're thankful for the small blessings. You know, at least she has something to charge her phone and keep her fridge running. It's a small generator, but we're making it work. Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, I'm so happy about that, you know, because throughout the Christmas and thing, I get stuck at an entity doing a lot of care package to go down in the west and to St. Elizabeth and all of those bits. I hardly even spend any time at home with my family because I have to be doing all of that, you know.
Well, that's good of you, Bobby. You know, Christmas is a time of giving also, and you gave selflessly, and we appreciate that.
Right, good. I didn't get to hear the interview this evening with the chairman and the board there up at UHWI. But question, I want to ask a question. Did they call the permanent secretary into Q&A also?
Did who call the permanent secretary?
The media call the permanent secretary and ask him some questions.
Well, why would you call the permanent secretary?
Because the permanent secretary is the chief accounting officer.
Now, remember, the health ministry is unique, you know, in that it has what do they call them? The health regions, which are sort of autonomous. So it's slightly different from the other ministries.
Okay.
And then UE has a rather peculiar status as well.
Oh. Okay then. Good. And the final thing that I want to say, you see, Monday when I call you on Cliff, I had wanted to say something to the people in Jamaica, especially the media house. But I just cautioned myself and I said, look here, you know, when it come on to Venezuela and the US and those things, the only thing I can say, let us pray for peace. I had wanted to caution Jamaicans, and especially the media, be careful what you're saying about Trump. Remember this man, you know, man. Anything you say and things hurt him, he will use it against you. When I look today and I saw something in the media, 75 countries and we are included, it come to mind, said, Monday I should have cautioned Jamaicans, be careful what you are saying about that man.
You sound like Kamala Persad-Bissessar. She told her people not to badmouth the U.S. So you're sounding like her now.
No, Ricardo. Remember, Ricardo, and you should know better, Ricardo. The U.S. is...
Wait, why me must know better? Why?
No, because...
Them not cancel my visa. No,
no.
Still have it, they not cancel it.
No, Ricardo, remember, the U.S. is our number one trading partner. And when our hand is in lion mouth, we not only have to take with time and dry it out, we have to caution ourselves.
So we should just turn, just look the other way.
If you intend to say otherwise, don't say it on here, because remember, so whatsoever we say on the media, it goes worldwide.
Listen, Bobby, shut up my mouth.
Eh?
Keep up my mouth.
No. You can do it off air, you know. But when you are...
But when me behind the microphone, keep up my mouth.
Yes, when you are behind the microphone.
I don't know what kind of advice that is about me.
Eh?
I don't know what kind of advice that.
No, that is a good advice, because
Bobby is helping him to protect your US visa, Ricardo.
Huh?
You're helping him to protect his US visa.
Not only that.
Oh.
I am telling him to protect the country that he lives in.
Bobby, you catch afraid, man.
No, it's not really.
You catch afraid, man. You're afraid, man. Talk the truth. You're afraid.
No.
You're afraid. You want to go to Nama Mali and can fly out and land in Miami and JFK. You're afraid, man.
No. Remember.
You know what, when the airline them say, excuse me, Mr. Bobby, could you come in this room with us, please? And put you back on a Caribbean Airlines flight. You're afraid, man.
No, I am not afraid, man. I am not afraid. I am a patriotic Jamaican, and I want trading to continue with America and the rest of the country, so that more and more jobs can create here, and we can see as well in our GDP here. That is what I want.
All right, Bobby, hear you.
Yes. Bobby is saying he who keeps his mouth.
Bobby coward.
The person keep it shut. You keep your mouth shut, you live to see and speak another day.
What did Cliff tell me? The police tell him back in the 1990s again? Discretion is the better part of valor. Coward. Keep your mouth. 16 minutes after 7. Anthony, are you gonna keep your mouth?
Well,
Anthony?
I don't need. Yes, Ricardo and Sanjay. How you doing?
We're all right.
How are you?
Well, I don't have to keep on my mouth, you know. But there are many Bobbies around right about now. I can tell you that for sure.
Anthony, so like, he must have a green card. Is a citizen?
I am the latter.
Aye. All right.
You see?
Talk your talk, Mr. Citizen. Talk your talk. I can't come kick the door. Talk your talk.
But it's a sad space to be in, to be honest. It's a sad space, and we just got to watch and see how this one is going to play out. Kamina has worked some magic before. It's over to her again, maybe to work some more magic. So let's see where we go with this one. The thing I call about Ricardo, I was trying to get the morning show, but them have a limited amount of time. But George touched on something critical in the morning when we were talking about the accidents on our roads and how persons drive and ride and all of that. However, there's one element that he didn't touch on, which I think is a major problem. And I am going to call it the corruption at the ITAs, the depots, how persons acquire driver's license. All right, because I think that when persons can buy it, as we know, and it is still happening, and I was going to say I know for a fact, but let me say it's still happening where persons can just pay their way through and get a driver's license, and then these persons are let loose on the road now because they didn't acquire the proper skill, they didn't the proper testing and whatever. Ricardo, let me give you an example. When I just came to the US, I was driving in Jamaica for many years, and when I had to do the road test, and when I did the road test, I drove maybe a block or less in the cycle lane, and I was failed, and the person who took me on the road said, "Hey, I failed you because you're driving at the cycle lane." I had to go back the following day to drive again in order to get the license. So simple, basic things, Ricardo. And I'm saying that I think the government, well, our police, or the head of the transport authority need to do some serious investigation where these persons who at these depots are selling these licenses. And the thing about it, Ricardo, go to Spanish Town, go to Swallowfield, go to Spanish Town Road, and you see all of these persons on the outside, who are what I would call facilitators, because they are the persons who collect the money and stuff and pass it on to whoever and things. So I think that's an area that needs to be looked at in order to see how we can curb this thing of persons who are getting driver's license who are really not worthy to have a driver's license. You understand? So that is one concern, because the murders are coming down, but I mean, having so much accident is still putting a burden on the health system, which in itself is going to be more dollars that could be directed into something else. You understand what I'm saying? So
yeah,
let's see where that one goes.
And Anthony, it's a long-standing issue that from I'm going to high school. We've been hearing about people paying to get their license and all of that, and we have heard successive administration, they speak to it, not loudly, but they indicate things that or changes that they have put in place to try and curb this issue. But it's a problem that we're seeing.
Exactly. There's something that Cliff has been talking about for a long time that I endorse, and I don't know how it's possible to introduce drivers education in our high schools, because
some high schools do it. I think your Castle, for example, does it.
Yes.
And is it in their curriculum, or it's just something that is added?
I think it's in the curriculum, as in your Castle has added it, because I think you have to do it. That's my recollection. Right. I remember an interview.
Yeah, it would be nice if we could get it be mandated right across, because
that would be a bad idea. Probably once you get to fifth form, lower sixth. Right. That wouldn't be a bad idea.
It's part of the TVET program.
Yeah, okay.
If my memory serves me correct. Yeah, so like Knox and St. Catherine High, Vere, and a number of other schools, they actually do it.
Yeah, because I think it would help. Brother, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was in Jamaica recently, and that piece of road from Falmouth, I forget, we're always having accident. And Ricardo, I mean, the man them, even around the corner, the man them overtake. When you stop at a stoplight, as the light change, all arms are going off and stuff. No patient. Everybody is just in this mad rush. So I'm not surprised when I see. I mean, we have this high rate of accidents, and I mean it is a concern and something that I think really needs to address.
All right, hear you. And just to give some more information on my answer earlier about the PS, so I did a check. And the PS is not, while the PS is the overall accounting officer for the Ministry of Health, the board is the final authority. The law gives the board all responsibility, and the CEO is the accounting officer to the board. And that's the University Hospital Act, because I saw somebody in the YouTube telling me that the permanent secretary is responsible for every hospital and Bellevue, and no. So specifically with respect to UE, the governing law vests the authority in the board with the CEO as the accounting officer.
And just to add to that, the UHWI, they are subjected to reviews by the Auditor General and scrutiny by Parliament because they use public resources.
Right.
But as you indicated, Ricardo, the ultimate responsibility rests really with the board of directors.
Yeah. Who's next? Faithful, good evening.
One and all. First of all, I think Mr. Anthony Hilton, I think it was well done of him to...
Anthony Hilton. Patrick Hilton.
Patrick Hilton.
He's after my apologies, sir. It was well done of him to come out and face the music, and I think he delivered himself credible. Right, and like you, Ricardo, I wish him all the success at PO, as Private Secretary and boss.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Ricardo, you have a conversation yesterday even with Cliff and I think it was Amalo.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for most part Amalo was right.
Okay.
Number one, America does not have the largest army in the world. That go to China, and I think India is second, America will be third. But if you say America is second, maybe that can be structural because both them are India.
And by largest army, you mean total number of members?
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's one. Two. Well, in terms of...
But I'm not sure we were ever arguing who has the largest army, but continue.
Oh, right, okay. And just in terms of baccalaureate, I think America has proven itself by engaging war all over the world. So maybe in terms of the efficiency, I think I would agree that America is more efficient. But the rise of China and the power that they pull, I think China, in an open field battle, I think China would win the war. So like Omar, I would agree with Omar.
And you're saying that based on the total number of the members?
No, but I go on to say, no, not only based on the total number. No, man, I think.
What about the military technology?
Yeah, the technology.
No, but I did that
the capability of the army.
I did that. I say in terms of technology, and technical. You know.
You still think it's China?
No, I'll get it to America. Say America with that.
It has to be the U.S.
Yeah, no, but that's what we were talking about.
All right. And you did say also that in terms of a nuclear weapon, America have more. I think Russia have twice as much as America. I think Russia have 5,500. Right.
I would rank it like this. I would say the U.S., Russia, then China.
No, man, that's not true.
Huh?
No, man, China is probably than Russia.
No,
Russia was, I think the way we were viewing Russia.
Overall military power?
No, man, China is probably better than Russia. Trust me on that.
All right.
But in terms of war rate, Russia have the most, then America, and then China, and then over France.
Yes, that's correct. You're correct on that score.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so, and but in terms of what with America have a whole lot more theater in the world, meaning army base what they have in the world. Mm-hmm. So they are spread far and wide, and in a sense of that, now they will be able to reach more to set up a camp to fight the war.
Yeah.
I think they will be able to outdone other person. That is why Mr. Trump he say he want Greenland. Because
and you're right with the US, because you have to look at the military budget. They have the largest military budget. They have the most advanced technology, the global reach, as you're talking about. Yeah.
And they spend far more. So that's what gives them the edge.
Right, but that's what we were saying, Bobby.
No, but you
not
are,
Bobby. Sorry, Faithful. That's what we were saying. That's what the argument was about. As I understood Cliff's point, was about the might comes from their spending and their capability. And my point was that that would be what gives them the edge. The technology. I wasn't talking about the actual number, just total number of. But I concede the point on the nuclear weapons.
Right. I just think because Russia have not really been tested, because Russia have avoided.
But hold on. When we say they haven't been tested, because I've been surprised, to tell you the truth, that they have not been able to completely overrun Ukraine. And not
Russia, China, because China.
Oh, China. Oh, okay. Well, but in case of Russia, I've been surprised by that because, I mean, as you said, you're right, more nuclear weapons. Yeah. But I would have thought it would have been easier for them to overrun Ukraine. But but you're right on China not being tested. Certainly, there hasn't been a major conflict.
Right. And I think China can punch a whole lot more punch than what you and I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
All right, Faithful. Yeah, man.
All right, thank you.
630-9371 to 618-6730. Those are the numbers to call to have your say. Let's go for a break now. Come back with more.
In times of loss, sharing information matters. Nationwide 90 FM offers professional obituary announcements, ensuring family, friends, and communities are informed with care and dignity.
It's been a long day.
Obituaries are aired weekdays at 8:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 7:30 p.m. When it's important to reach people, let us help you do so respectfully. Contact our sales team today, 876-630-1210, or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com for more information. Nationwide 90 FM, informing Jamaica with care.
This season is the time. Digital is gifting smiles. Gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile. 64 people to win a grand prize. 250K to help you to gift a smile. Plus groceries and farming supplies. Keep your loved ones in mind. Gift a smile. Sharing the love from me to you. Samsung tablet video and your crew. Gift a smile, gift a smile. This season, make sure everybody good. Digital is helping you to gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile.
Papa Nana, good evening.
Good evening to you both. Yeah, man.
Good evening, Papa Nana.
You sound better. Good evening, Sanjay. You sound better now, man. There was a terrible sound in the background.
Oh.
Yes. Listen to me. The only thing that could have saved us if we had oil. and I don't know if you hear the other part about it. They say you must not overweight either, and you mustn't too old.
You say you must what?
You must overweight.
Oh.
You didn't hear about that part.
That's Sanjay. Look at them all give me green paper next time. No, you know what? We're going to take bad things with laugh. Anyway.
So you never hear about it?
I did hear. But I thought they said they hadn't gone ahead with that.
No, you can't hear that. You can't be overweight. So like me now. So, who the doctor tell to watch me weight and me have to put it in front of me? What's that?
Nah, cook your Papa Nana. You might get a green paper.
Oh, dear. Listen to me. On a serious note, though, I think some of our policemen need to be watch them wait, you know, because they cannot make somebody speak criminal, them as spirit and let them come on.
No, but can I say though, and I don't know if it's been the uniform change, but our policemen and women are looking spiffy and very professional.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know if it's because them lose the stripe and thing, but what is it? Denim? Is denim? I don't know if it's denim. Yeah. The blue uniform that everybody
really
look
nice,
man. Everybody look well professional. Me not see nobody will look out of place, Papa Lad. I look like them can run down criminal. Yeah. Them look very modern and we could have run down some criminal, Papa Nana. True. No, true. It's because I've been seeing a lot of them patrolling. You can clearly see their presence more like in places like Halfway Tree and Crossroads. I mean, not see nobody will look like them that bust a sweater and them that start the out of breath and the criminal that get away. Me not see none, Papa. Or maybe there has been a deliberate effort to take those off the street. So we're only seeing everybody who fit and ready. Me no know.
But if you put them in the office, it's no worse, man. Or them and send them a gym now. And the next thing, I think all the soldiers and the policemen them should learn to swim too.
Yeah, isn't that a part of their training? I think it is.
You see, right?
Yeah, man.
For the soldiers.
But maybe the soldiers, yeah. But no, I certainly, yeah.
Because me, I tell you the honest truth, Sandra. Me see some policemen, me one day for the canteen they work. Why them have to...
No, look, we're not laughing.
No, Papa Lala, as I said to you, I don't know if it's a deliberate effort, but I have not been seeing any out of shape policemen and women on the street. No. No, me I tell you the truth. Papa Lala, I am not saying that in the past that was not so, but I'm saying my observations of late is that everybody fit. Everybody fit.
Yes. You're the manageable child. You are. Let me give somebody else a chance.
All right. Oh, Papa Lala. Remind me of the saying again. Oh, you go. Some about mongoose and fowl and dog. Oh, you go.
Well, let me tell you something. I am saying, if mongoose have secrets for dog, what you think would happen to fowl?
If mongoose, I remember it. Look, I use it one time. I couldn't remember it. If mongoose have secret for dog, what all right, because if the mongoose have a secret for the dog now got the one guard the fowl and the fowl I get nyam.
You're sensible.
All right, my friend.
You know English.
You gonna get nyam. All right, Papa Nana.
Ricardo,
yes.
I want to say something quickly about Russia and Ukraine.
Yes.
I'm not surprised, because let's face it, Ukraine isn't or wasn't at the time when they just started fighting alone. It was backed by advanced weapons, intelligence training.
But certain intelligence,
and Europe.
Yes.
So at the same time, I remember a lot of the supplies that would normally go to Russia, it was stopped by Western powers.
Fair.
So that would have crippled the power that their army would have had at that time.
If mongoose have secret for dog, what
so come off for that,
me have to remember it, man. Can we do one use it one night?
Write it down.
Write it down.
Write it down.
Omalo.
Yeah, good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Sanjay.
How are you, my
friend?
Good
evening, Omalo.
I'm doing fine. Doing fine. You know, one of the things, Ricardo, Sanjay, that even looking at the situation that is happening in the world right at this moment, one of the things that I never heard raised in our election in Jamaica is how a question and a debate, our foreign our government will deal with issues like these.
You mean in the political debate? You didn't come up. Yeah, that's true.
Political, economic stratosphere throughout the world.
Omalo, that's a very good point. In fact, I don't think I've ever heard international relations or even regional affairs being raised in the leadership debates. Good point. You're right.
I have never
that's true.
heard it raised
and on
in
the flip side, in a U.S. debate, based on what is happening, you've always had.
In fact, I think
international relations.
In fact, I think there's an entire debate devoted to foreign affairs.
Yes.
But you're right, Omalo.
And this is very important because right at this moment, the pressure that is on Andrew's government to navigate these waters. We have to ask ourselves, if there was somebody else there, Would they be acting on ideology? What they would be acting on? We have to ask these questions when we are going to the poll as to who we are going to put there to navigate the geopolitics of the world.
Are Jamaicans really interested though?
But I think that is exactly the point Omala is making, Sanjay. That in the world that it is evolving now.
It's important.
It is very important, and certainly we journalists have to ask those questions. I agree with you, Omala. I don't think you're wrong.
It is very important because you see, one of the things I would love to hear either come up in some debate coming from the University of the West Indies, really putting forward by you all, is that what if America should face a 5% loss in the economic growth or whatsoever in their economy? How would Jamaica withstand these pressure? We put forward that we can withstand hurricane. We could put forward maybe we are building our house to deal with earthquake and these natural disasters. Financial problems where you find financial institution not lending money, or America facing a financial crisis because America is in serious financial problem right at this moment with their debt crisis, and not having anyone to really buy their treasury notes and stuff like this, So how would we here in Jamaica deal with a fall off in our tourism 5% fall, in our export 5%? These just numbers, put some numbers out there and let us see how we would deal with them. We have to be question these things because these are things that are happening now inside of the world. There is the China have risen to be a balance with the Americans, and this is causing a problem with the competition in the technology era in America. And America is in a serious financial crisis, and that is one of the power that the Chinese have, is the bonds, over $700 billion worth of bonds them hold. So they have a whole for leverage can cause America great problem. We have to understand that Rome went down because of inside things. Britain went down because of war and all the disturbance and everything, and they're losing the colonies and these stuff. Not every great empires never stand for too long.
There's a saying that a great empire is not defeated from without until it's defeated from within.
And look at the problems that are happening in America. Who to tell that the immigration is not a distraction from the economic problems that they are facing, and they have to have extreme measures to distract the people?
There are people who say that. There are theorists and commentators who believe that when a U.S. president is facing domestic challenges, they try to create problems or ramp up fervor, patriotic fervor, by projecting strength on the international scene.
Yeah, we have to look what is going on in the Federal Reserve, the institutions that the president over there is literally discrediting them, their credibility. We have to look at these things and how we position ourselves here in the Caribbean. So, Ricardo, I hold you and I hold Sanjay to ask some very serious questions.
No, but that hold me to know, Omala. You forget, say last time the people don't make me ask no question, then now make me ask no question. No. But that makes me, people don't want me at them place, no, but that makes me.
All right, Ricardo, take care.
All right, Omala, good evening. 630-937-124, 618-6730. William, good evening.
Good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Sanjay.
Hello, William.
Well, giving God thanks. Yeah, a few quick things here. You remember a few months now, I speak to you about the bureaucracy up in Rollinsville district, that the precipice there.
No, I don't remember.
Yeah, man, Sunday this week, I think Sunday they look on something, they same seat also.
Oh, I can't remember. But what about it?
But up till now, nothing has been done. And I am wondering if they get with it, not until something, a vehicle plunge over it before then do something.
Where again? Say it again. Where?
A district of Rollinsville in St. Thomas.
In St. Thomas, Rollinsville. Okay.
Yeah, the other quick point. I am concerned about the electrical vehicle and what we have in this country.
Why?
These vehicles not making any sound. We who are a blind person now, compared to this indisciplined driver we have in this country, how safe you think it is for us not hearing it, not seeing it, compared to this our driver when having the behavior? You know, serious it can be to us because we're not hearing it. I remember majority of vehicle, we hear it before we cross the road, we have to use our cane. But approaching these vehicles, not seeing it or hear it.
They're kind of silent.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. But how popular are these electric vehicles?
I don't know, but I understand that a few of them will in the country. But I don't know. But so I'm wondering if any farmer extra then calling education go on. These drivers were driving them when they approach on the road, they say a blind person want to cross road, or a person with a wheelchair or a crutch. Because they're supposed to cannot cross road as fast as a able-bodied person.
Yes. Yeah.
So, what I like is, if we could get somebody could give up some date on it, how them deal with it. And the last thing, these, one call it now, country I'm speaking about now, these world power country, which one of them have the most food?
The most food? In terms of who produces the most food?
Right, food that can maintain for serve you.
Let me look at that. Let me look that up. But go and talk with him. I'll look it up for you.
No, because I am looking, you hear them say, empty back can't stand up. And a country have the most food. You're able to win the war because we don't have food to maintain
Actually,
this
it says
food.
United States. I just did a quick check. It says United States is number 1, China, India, Russia, Brazil. That's what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, but the normal say they want the most food. We can maintain it so just to fight a war for as long as ever. They are the one as you come out on top.
Well, it says
Because
the
the
US.
You guys might have the arms and have whatever, but if you don't have the strength in the person to keep him up, he might go fall.
Them hungry, them weak out.
Exactly. That's why them say empty back can't stand up.
All right, William.
Yeah, man.
Cool. 630-937-124-618-6730. We're taking your calls. 15 minutes to go. The final lap of Nationwide at 5. Who do we have next? No? All right. Sean.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
Hello, Sean.
Okay, we only have 1 minute left, but me just take a bit quick to let you know that in the act of terrorist act in the United States regarding to borders and what do you call it, protecting your borders.
Is this the same person who goes by the name Charlie?
Yeah, and immigration.
What terrorist attack? What terrorist attack?
Terrorist attack from 9/11.
What about
so that is still in effect, but it's only formed in a different way. So with the rejection of visa is because of the World Cup.
Oh.
Yeah, and
yeah, I did see that. I've seen that online that people are saying they think that might be part of it because people use sporting events, major sporting events, to get visas to the U.S. But I don't know if that would apply because these are immigrant visas. So usually when you're going to a sporting event, you'd be getting a tourist visa. So I'm not sure, but I've seen that theory, but I'm not sure it makes sense. No, gone. All right, so that was Sean, who was previously Charlie.
Ricardo.
Yeah.
You know, Bobby just asked about how my mom is dealing with electricity, right? Mommy just texted me a while ago. Thanks be to God, we get back the light.
Oh, nice.
She just got it back. Good.
Oh, that's in Central Westmoreland, yeah?
In Central Westmoreland.
Oh,
yes.
That's good.
Yes,
That's good.
Yeah. Bobby must be wondering, Bobby? You bring the good news, Bobby.
My God, imagine when them a clap and everybody dance out the door.
I just respond to her and say you must be celebrating. Can you imagine and have light since the hurricane and you get it back tonight?
Oh, nice. That's nice. 630-937-124-618-6730. Carl. Carl. Not here, Carl. Carl. Protecting JA. Good evening.
Good evening, Ricardo. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm all right. Sanjay, big up yourself.
Yeah, man. Good evening.
That's your mommy get back line.
Boy, I'm happy fair, man.
I'm all right. Ricardo, I want to hear your views on a discussion that happened. I think was it yesterday morning in regards to the body-worn cameras for the police. Yesterday morning.
Who? I
want to hear your views.
What?
On,
I didn't hear the. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, you didn't hear it?
No, I didn't hear the discussion. What was it about?
I mean, it was a little bit strange while I listened, and I saw some people in the comments on YouTube. They were wondering what was that about. So
Is that the one with the Indicom commissioner?
No, the one with Miss Michael Jackson and Mr. Retired from the courtroom, Samuels.
Oh, Bert Samuels. No. Oh, wait, no,
Yes,
no. That wasn't in the morning, was it? I think wasn't that on Let's Talk Justice? Or
no, it was. I think it was the morning town.
Oh, they went on. Oh no, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear.
So basically, these two people were among a larger group that hammered the police commissioner for the better part of about 2 years about the body-worn cameras. Where are the cameras? Why aren't you getting the cameras? Why aren't the police wearing the cameras? All of us, and the day before, they were on Let's Talk Justice, which was Monday, and Mr. Samuels was saying the cameras, I think the police, they don't want to wear the cameras, and I don't know what kind of excuse. And I think it was Fitz Jackson last week, I don't remember if it was you, who was saying that the government is pushing back against body-worn cameras. Now, the interview yesterday morning, I'll know it's a hot head because now that the police announced that they are in receipt of 1,000 body-worn cameras, I was a little surprised to hear now Ms. Jackson and Mr. Samuel saying, okay, it's not about the cameras anymore. Will the police turn off the cameras when they walk into somebody's house and somebody's naked? And I'm like, really? Will the police now protect people's privacy? But you ask the camera off the funny and weary when they enter people's home. I do not understand these
No,
people.
but hold on, protecting Jay. Hold on. Because I don't think, I think there's some nuance there. And I'm obviously going off what you're telling me because, as I said, I didn't hear. I think it's reasonable to, I think the general gist from what I just got from you is that privacy concerns, how you operationalize the use of the cameras. So, for example, if you're going into...
I'm not saying it's not, Ricardo. I'm not saying it's not reasonable concern. But
Right.
guess what?
Right.
The discussion is no more about the fact that the cameras are needed and now the cameras are here. It's the entire interview, to me, did not even acknowledge much the importance of or know that the police has received the cameras, that, okay, we can move forward. Ricardo, remember, the discussion started out with get some cameras. And the authorities had been saying, we had cameras that we were deploying, but they weren't up to the standard. They couldn't fit on the uniform. We didn't have the background equipment to store the data. It's a large investment. We have to get something that is fitting for even our climate because our country hot. So you have these things out here running to 8 hours. Them are hot. I mean, it's a whole lot of different parts, moving parts, that you need to agree on and decide on before you get to a certain point. But now that the cameras are here, it must be that the police force has different processes in place to see to the privacy of citizens.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
then protecting JA. Protecting JA. They mean see nothing wrong with JFJ saying or highlighting that to say, make sure that happens.
I'm just thinking it was a surprise to me, and I'm just thinking that it was a big surprise to them because they weren't expecting that the cameras would have been bought, because they were just expecting something to hammer the force about. And I'm saying, my God,
by the way,
we can all be on the same boat.
By the way, JFJ released a statement this morning welcoming the cameras.
Oh, this morning?
Yes, I got it at 9, after 9 this morning in my inbox.
We should all be singing from the same hymn book and the same choir. Okay? Murder is down, kumbaya. The police get cameras, kumbaya. Our society is getting more peaceful, kumbaya. It shouldn't be that one set of people. And as you said, I'm listening to you. Right now, you are the man in the middle. I'm not paying them any attention. I'm not paying them no mind, because I for one, know what they're about.
I see.
You so here now said they need 5,000 cameras.
Well, the police themselves have said they need 8,000.
And I hope that before the week is out, you'll speak again to Fitzjackson and hear what he has to say.
All right, my brother. Thanks for the call. Carl, stop listening to the radio.
Yes, Richard. How you do? Evening, Sanjay.
Yeah, all right.
Evening, Carl. How you do?
You be giving thanks, man. Anyhow, this year, me can't call it time short. I hear Dawes this evening. And I think what Dawes should have stopped. Dawes, I'm going to tell you something. Keep your little mouth shut, Dawes. Keep your mouth shut, Dawes. What is coming concerning what happened to the Auditor General documents which lay inside the Parliament yesterday evening, Dawes? Keep your mouth shut. Because the person who was giving you the information concerning the jail never stopped to give you and tell you what was happening. Keep your mouth shut, Dawes.
You cannot tell the opposition spokesman on help to keep his mouth shut.
Right.
The man have a right to talk, Carl.
All right, Ricardo.
What is it?
Well, them always a jump out and a call press conference. Tell them if they think them bad them if you call one tomorrow.
You can't threaten the PMP. The PMP will call them press conference. The people will call them press conference if they want to call them press conference. Me not have to tell them. I don't advise the PMP. But you cannot come on here and threaten the people them.
Ricardo.
Yes.
We don't have full journalists are going to ask them questions if they call the press conference tomorrow. No. We are going to dip in a people's bedroom. If them are cheat on their wife. We have sensible journalists. We ask them questions tomorrow.
Now, Carl.
Can you withdraw the use of full?
All right. We are going to withdraw that one then.
Thank you.
All right. We have journalists will ask them sensible questions tomorrow. Tell them to call the press conference tomorrow.
I don't advise the People's National Party.
If they think them bad, tell them to call the concern up there. Tell them to call it. We're waiting on them to call a press conference.
I am out of time, Carl.
And then we hear the name they want to call
I am out of time. You know, get me in any trouble. Goodbye. Ah, boy. One make two still, you know. I mean, if people pay attention, it's not very difficult to figure out who may be the owner of at least one of the companies. Anyhow, that's it. Dana Davey, hardworking producer. Thank you. Bugs, man behind the controls. Thank you, sir. My colleagues in the newsroom, they are the best in the business. Thank you all so very much. All our callers, sponsors, contributors, and you, our valued listeners. We appreciate you so very much. My name is Ricardo Brooks.
And my name is Sanjay Lewis. Big up to those over the big yard. Thank you as always.
Big up the big yard, massive. One big yard for the app. One big yard.
Never two. Have a good evening.
Good evening.
In times of loss, sharing